Are we recording right now?
Have you been recording?
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
I guess welcome back to the channel, nerds. My name is Oz, short for Osborne, aka Mr. Winters, and joining me is the lovely Miss M. You want to say hi?
No.
Okay. And we just saw Return to Silent Hill, and
It was so good.
uh, I'm okay. So the reason that we're having this conversation, I know this is something very different for the channel, but the reason that we're having this conversation is because as you know, am uh, I have history with the Silent Hill franchise, and Silent Hill 2 in particular is probably my favorite game of all time. I think there's a good conversation there to have one day. That is my favorite, not necessarily my favorite like survival horror game, because in terms of survival horror gameplay I think there are games that do that stuff better, but overall it is just an experience that to this day kind of remains unmatched for me. Silent Hill 2 is a very pivotal game in my um in my growth and just as a person, not even just as a gamer. And it kind of recontextualized what narrative in video games could be for me at a young age, and it's something that's always stuck with me, and I've just seen it be twisted and bastardized and revised and redone and remade in so many different forms in so many different ways. And what this movie proved to me was that literally fucking none of these people actually understand Silent Hill, like, in general, but Silent Hill 2 in particular. And it's getting increasingly more and more frustrating to even take part in an online discussion about this stuff, because the problems are so glaringly obvious that it makes me sick to my balls. So I obviously have a lot to say about this in terms of both an adaptation of Silent Hill 2 and just sort of a kind of psychological horror film in its own right. But I'm gonna give you a minute here. You have never played Silent Hill 2. You've never really even played any of the games.
Correct.
What is your experience with the Silent Hill franchise? Tell the people.
Um, Years ago, I was friends with some real Silent Hill fans, and that's how I saw the first movie. Was we went as a big group to go see this movie, and that was pretty much it. I thought Silent Hill was just like Pyramid Head. Like that was my, like
Yeah.
that was all. I was that was all I knew, right?
Cue the clip of Markiplier talking about Pyramid Head, because that's kind of the way a lot of people are.
Well, I thought it was just like, oh, it's a town and it's foggy and it's like on fire and there's ashes or something. It could, I don't know. That was really it.
Yep.
Like that was,
Yeah.
it was more like it was a town. There's like some devil worshippers, whatever, and apparently Pyramid Head rips people's skin off. Like that was my whole
Literally
experience
cue
with
the
it.
Markiplier clip. So I'm gonna I because I'm probably gonna make an actual review about this at some point, maybe in the near future. I'm already formulating my thoughts. So I want people to hear your perspective, because you have so little experience with the franchise in totality, and even less experience with like Silent Hill 2, the original, because it's something that you kind of really have to play to fully grasp and understand. I think even if someone were to tell you, I think experiencing it is very different. But you said something to me last night, and I want to kind of quote you here, and then I want you to lead off with this. You said something to me that really fucking hit home, and it made me so angry because I completely agree with it, and it's so true. You said, if you didn't know me and you didn't know like how I felt about Silent Hill as a whole, or Silent Hill 2 specifically, based on everything you've seen from Silent Hill, in the present, like Silent Hill F, this movie, and a couple other things, or we just recently watched the first Silent Hill movie again, kind of in preparation for this. We watched it this past week. If you didn't know me and my perspective and didn't trust what I said about Silent Hill 2, based on everything you've seen, you would fucking hate Silent, like you would never play it. You would never go experience it yourself.
Yeah,
Something
absolutely.
along the lines, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Do
I
you
was like, I would not trust you that I would not trust anybody that said to me, this is a good game. I would never go and be like, because prior to this, I don't really play survival horror games. Um, but prior to this, your love of Silent Hill 2, the original game, and like the story and everything you've said to me about it is very, it has sort of piqued my interest. And I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, well, if I ever had the opportunity to actually go and play that game, I would, just so I could see my experience with it, because you've made it seem very interesting in a positive way.
Yeah.
But if my only experience was that movie that we saw last night, I would literally never, I would be like, those Silent Hill, it was terrible. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible.
Yeah. So, we don't really have like an itinerary or an outline for this. We are both very frustrated for different reasons, for a lot of the same reasons, but also there's some different stuff that we'll get into as we talk. But this movie is fucking terrible. And again, like I said earlier, it just proves once again that there are these creators just do not understand Silent Hill. They definitely don't understand Silent Hill 2. And honestly, I don't even think that someone like Christoph Gans, who directed this and directed the first one, he also has a writing credit on this one, which I don't remember if he had a writing credit on the first one. I think the first one was Roger Avery had sole writing control on the first movie. With this one, he's one of 3 credited writers, so he had some input there. Um, I don't use this phrase very often because it seems a little reductive. I hate to tear down people's work, but some creatives are just so far up their own ass that they can't, like, you can't bring them back. Like they have no grasp or grip on like the real the what the end result of their the project is going to be. They are so buried in their own creative genius, but I think some people can be so far up their own ass that they're kind of, running their project into the ground. But someone like Christoph Gans really seems like he's lost up his own ass, and there's no bringing him back, because it's not just the Silent Hill movies. Every movie he's ever made is fucking terrible. And I don't think some people who are fans of the Silent Hill movie, the original one, because a lot of people really like it. I don't. I think it's trash. But some people will look at that movie and think that, oh, this guy makes good movies. But if you watch like Necronomicon or Brotherhood of the Wolf, like, he's a low tier, like very, very low tier filmmaker. And I don't mean low tier in terms of budget. I think you can make great movies on a budget. There are some fantastic low budget movies, horror movies especially, out there. Something, I mean, I'm not going to go too into it here. I want to focus on the movie, but there are so many sub $10 million, sub $5 million horror movies out there that are just fantastic, that will literally blow your fucking mind. And then this movie, I don't know what the budget was, but I can tell you right now, they worked really hard to scrape as much money as they could together, because I don't remember the last time I saw a movie that had so many production houses attached to it. Like, at the beginning, it was like such and such studios and such, films and such this. And it took like 5 or 6 before it even got to the Davis Films logo, which is the primary production house on the Silent Hill movies. And like, I just cannot imagine how small the budget of this movie was, because it looks, what do we, oh, okay, so M pulled it up. It looks like it has something like a reported budget of 23 million, approximately 23 million, and that is with all of those production houses attached to it. It's like, this movie is incredibly cheap. It looks its budget in the worst ways imaginable. And I will say, like, just to get the positives out of the way real quick, and then I'm gonna let M talk a little. There were some areas, like in the set design, that I thought, like, just looked good. Not even that they looked cool or interesting, or they fit the aesthetic of Silent Hill 2, like the original, or anything like that. There were some sets that just looked good. And I think a big part of that is the lighting. I don't know, if the original movie is fresh in anyone's minds, but the lighting in that movie is really bad. It is when they're like out in the town, it's incredibly flat. Everything is overexposed and it looks really bad. And in this movie, it does too. But when they're in like the internal locations in the first movie, I still feel like it's way too well lit. And in this movie, I think they do a better job overall of creating this deeper contrast between the light and the shadows and the darkness. And there are some moments here and there that I feel are effective in terms of lighting. I would say whoever the lighting person is on this movie is probably deserves the most credit of anyone on the creative team, because the lighting is actually really solid throughout. It's a weird. I normally wouldn't compliment that or talk about it so much, but there's nothing good to say about this movie. So I was trying to find a positive first before we rip this movie's asshole just smooth off. So I want you to go, and I want you to just let it rip. Just tell these people what sound the steel pipe makes. Just fucking just go.
Well,
And by the way, I when I said we didn't have an itinerary or an outline, like we are going to talk about things out of order. So fucking spoiler alert up front, I guess, but who cares? We were the only people in the theater last night. It was opening night. We looked up real quick. What was it? You looked up a theater, like one of the biggest
in LA, in DC, in New York.
Like some of the biggest theaters in the biggest, like densest population areas. And
yeah, and it was like there was like 15 seats total in all the showtimes for the largest theater in LA that was showing it.
Yeah.
And in New York, in the Times Square one, that wasn't even actually showing it. There was one in Maryland. Yeah, no, it was showing in the Times Square one. Either way, it was probably like 30 total
we
seats,
looked at,
and
yeah,
I
we looked at a bunch
like,
of the pictures.
Like 10, 20 different theaters.
It was insane. And Slifer posted a picture in the Discord because he was looking at one of his local theaters, and it had like 35 seats sold, which is crazy because that in that one theater was more than some of the other ones we looked at combined. So there may be some theaters here and there that have more more higher ticket sales, but I'm so excited to see what the box office is on Monday, because this movie will absolutely, I don't want to say it's gonna bomb because it has an incredibly low budget, but dude, like we've seen movies with smaller budgets bomb, so I'm very interested to see what the box office is on Monday. And the weather probably won't do it any favors because there's a big storm this weekend. They should have probably released this movie on streaming at the same time as theaters. I don't know if that would have made a difference. We are not movie people in the sense that we are going to like sit and talk about box office and budgets and blah blah. We're having a general discussion, but I think there's a lot going against this movie, and I think a big part of it is the lack of marketing. There's been so little marketing for this film, like so little. Like I'm connected to all these channels and all these social media pages and all these things related to Silent Hill and survival horror and horror in general. And I mean, there's just nothing about this. Like there's so little marketing for Silent Hill or Return to Silent Hill. So I almost called it Silent Hill Returns. It's such a generic.
Yeah, I wish Silent Hill would stop returning.
Yeah, stop returning, Silent Hill. Please just go away. Eat that. Leave us alone. So, okay, so I want you to go. Just fucking let it rip. Just do it.
Well, I think I told you last night there was, a couple of positives. Overall, my impression of the movie was absolutely terrible. But there were like a couple of positive things. Like Mary's hair was super good. Well, not Maria's hair. That wig was an abomination.
That wig was garbage.
It was like Julia Roberts' wig in Pretty Woman or whatever. Yeah, it was like she like literally looked like Julia Roberts' hooker outfit in.
Well, that's you know what's so funny to me. Just I want to comment on this real quick. So that outfit is more accurate to the original game for Maria than the remake outfit was, or so many other kind of versions of this that we've seen.
That's fine. I was just pointing out, it looked to me when she came on screen, I was like, oh look, it's Julia Roberts.
Yeah,
like she.
They tried in that particular regard, but it's at the service of a shit movie. So
those bugs were super cute. I thought they were really cute. I know that you said there was like a weird thing, but like I was like, oh, they're so cute. Also,
you're talking about the bug monsters,
yeah, the
like the giant kind of roach looking things,
like,
yeah,
or like cardinals from a Catholic church.
Yeah, they have like little. If we can find pictures, I'll post it. I'll put it in the video, but I doubt there's gonna be a lot of footage or pictures from the movie. But it's the bugs from Silent Hill 2, but they like have They have like giant. They more closely resemble the ones from the first Silent Hill movie, but they made them look, I don't know, for lack of a better term, just scarier. I guess they're not scary, but they gave them like sharp teeth and little tongues, and but their heads look like their heads intentionally look like
Like,
penises, and they're like aggressively licking, like sexually licking, like with their tongues. It's real. Um, and we'll get more into that as we go, because I just keep that in mind for now. But yeah, she thinks they were cute. I think that
yeah,
they
now
were.
you said that they look like penises, and now I'm like,
They did look like
now it makes it
penises,
sound
and
like
that
I
was
think
very deliberate. But
penises are cute, and I don't.
yeah,
Like, that's
some penises are cute.
anyway. Okay, so, um, yeah, I don't know. Other than that, do the movie when he's in the bar, that was terrible because he wakes up and he looks like he's either like sweaty or crying. I couldn't really tell, and was just like woken up from his dream of how he met her.
Yeah.
Did he in the game? I have to ask a lot of questions like that. In the game, did they show how they meet?
So you know what? Actually, I this is one more positive. I actually this was something at first I was thinking about. I actually really like this. So in the game, you don't. There's no there's no information about their relationship outside of the very brief time that they spent in Silent Hill together. And whether or not any of that actually really happened is up for debate, because the game is quite ambiguous with this stuff. Um,
So there's
there's
no
no
like him
you
smoking
get
a
no
blunt,
back.
driving a
Right. So
Mustang.
let's just kind of start. Let's start from the beginning of the movie.
Okay.
So the movie opens with by the way, James Sunderland in the original game is like just a schlubby guy. He's very soft spoken at first. He's very kind of just like disoriented, broken. Like he's very, for lack of a better term. I mean, he's it seems like he's suffering from his own sort of brain fog, right? Because he's under like a self induced amnesia, and but in so he's just it's very understated, it's very subtle, it's very quiet. This movie starts with James Sunderland driving like a fucking, I don't know, like a 20, I don't know, a 2017 like Mustang GT.
Convertible, by the
Yeah.
way, which the actual physics of him driving with a convertible, I feel like the people who made this have never had a convertible. I have.
Yeah.
You don't put anything in the back seat of a
Yeah.
fucking convertible because the wind gets under it and
Yeah.
then lifts it and out it goes, right? He had his entire like art canvas collection, easels, all kinds of things in the back.
Yeah.
And he was driving what they want you to assume is very fast,
Yeah.
winding around. All of that stuff would have been flying literally everywhere. Like
Yeah.
you can't keep anything in a convertible.
Yeah.
And
The first thing you see him do, the first action you see him take is he pulls out a joint and lights it up, and he's just smoking a doob, speeding up this like twisting like mountain path on the way to well, actually we don't know where he's on the way
he said
to.
he was just like taking a spin or something.
Yeah, but he's presumably going through kind of past Silent Hill onto into the next, whatever the next town may be. I don't know if he's going to Brahms or wherever, but and then in something that I actually do kind of like, I don't think it would have worked in the game, but I think it's actually a nice touch point for the film, for a film adaptation of Silent Hill 2. He drives by the rest stop that the game starts in. And it, by the way, they like painstakingly recreated this rest stop. It looks exactly like it does in the game. And it's like you see something like that, it feels like there's this great attention to detail, like, oh, we love the game, we're going to recreate it painstakingly. But then everything else is wrong. And it's weird, the stuff that is super consistent. And the first movie had some of that too, where you'd see something that was like one for one recreated, but then it's at the service of this just absolute pile of dog shit. But James and Mary actually meet at that rest stop when they originally meet. He's cruising through. He's a painter, by the way. James Sunderland is a super cool, like edgy pothead painter. He's presumably a painter who makes enough money painting because he doesn't do anything else, and he drives a decent car, and he
can afford weed.
He can afford good weed, the dank herb, and there's some implication that like people would know who he is as a painter in the film, but James is driving through like a madman and he almost hits Mary with his car. She's waiting at the rest stop for to be picked up by a bus because she's leaving Silent Hill. Um, and this is one of the things that I actually think would have been a really good starting point for a Silent Hill 2 film, is showing actually like James and Mary, their life outside of Silent Hill, their actual relationship. And because in the game you don't need any of it. The game does a very good job of creating, like, Mary has a strong presence over the whole game even though she's not around for any of it. And it's really, more understated than that. But for a movie, if you want to expedite all of that and kind of give some like personal time with the characters, I think it's a really good way to have them meet. So he almost hits her with his car, and then she's gonna get on the bus, but like one of her suitcases flies open, and James is trying to help her close it. But the latches are broken. That's a thing that comes up later as well. Like the latches on the suitcase are broken, and then the bus is honking, and she's just like, "Fine, just go."
Which is also like the most. I don't know what the right word is, but it was like the most lackluster attempt for her to even get on that bus.
Yeah.
Right? Like the bus was stopped. Yes, they honked.
Yeah.
She could have been like, "Hey, bro, my suitcase is broken and I need a minute."
Yeah.
But she was just like, "It's fine, just go."
Yeah, it
Like,
takes no
try.
time. She's literally just, go ahead and go. It's fine, just go.
Yeah, she didn't even attempt to like get on the bus. She was just like, "It's whatever, I'll just stay."
Yeah.
Like,
so, but I thought it was neat that they had the meet there, and I will say this much too. When we first saw the trailer, we were all kind of like rolling our eyes at the casting of James. And I don't think that this movie is good, but like, I will say that the performances of the two main characters are fine. I think Mary as Mary, she feels like that actress is giving it everything she's got, and she does not do a bad job at all with the material she's given, and she's feels like a real person. And then James, I can't believe I'm going to say it, but like, that actor, he didn't look the part really. He ends up working for this particular version of James. I think he actually does a good job with the material too. Again, the material is shit, but I think the performances of those two are solid. And there are a couple of moments where I think that those two actors, when they're on screen together, actually have some decent chemistry. And I think they could have been a fine choice for a James and a Mary in a really good adaptation of Silent Hill 2. And there's one scene in particular we'll talk about as we, work our way through this. But that's the introduction of the characters. Is James is a stoner painter who presumably makes a living painting. And then Mary is just a small town gal trying to get out of Silent Hill and go somewhere else. And they immediately start talking, and he feels bad, so he's going to give her a ride back into town. And they have like actually some decent chemistry almost right away. It's a little bit awkward at first, but if a dude hit a girl with his, like, if I hit you with my, if I hit you with my, or almost hit you with my car, right, but you thought I was cute, it'd be a little awkward.
Isn't that just ridiculous though? Like, what if you were ugly?
Yeah, that's true.
And then I'd be
that's
like,
true.
"You
Yeah.
dick! You almost hit me with your car."
Yeah, what if
Fuck
James
you,
had
right?
like a lazy eye or
But
something?
like, "Oh, I think he's cute, so like it's okay. He almost hit me with his car." That's so it's so unacceptable.
But I do really like that idea of basically starting the movie with how James and Mary originally met each other. I think that's actually a really nice expeditious way of creating that moment, and then
Their little meet cute.
Yeah, kicking the story off. But then she ultimately decides to take a ride with him back into Silent Hill because he doesn't want to leave her stranded. And then the events of the everything kind of kicks in a gear there. So then we cut to the bar scene.
Yeah, well
that you're
then
talking about.
Yeah, he like wakes up sweaty and crying in a bar, super drunk.
Yeah.
And then
Presumably because this is after Mary is dead, right? Like, he's upset and he's drunk and he's trying to deal and work through and whatever. Which sure, like, if you lose a loved one, whatever the circumstances might be, you're gonna fall down a hole, I think.
No, here's the thing, and that the start of the movie, I think, was okay. It was acceptable, right?
Yeah.
It was just as it went on,
it was
it
acceptable.
just turned into. I told you this last night. I could see what they were trying to do,
Yeah.
and I feel like they had as strong of a start as possible as they could have had
Yep.
with that. Um, I can totally get behind the idea of like, okay, they have like this super adorable, I almost hit you with my car, meet cute,
Yeah.
haha. Uh, and then of course, instead of him just like driving her to the city, which he literally could have done,
Yep.
he is like, I'll just take you back into this town where you live that you were clearly trying to leave. But
Yep.
yeah, fine.
Well, I have
Anyway,
to
and
real quick. I just want to comment on this. Like she when you find out later why she's leaving Silent Hill, she should have really made a stronger effort to get out of Silent Hill. Like based on what you find out later, she should have just gone with James wherever he was going. Like this version of Mary would not have wanted to go back to Silent Hill.
well, but also kids don't get into cars with strangers and just go wherever they're going.
Yeah. Yeah, you know you're fucked either way.
Because you
Just
literally just said she should have just gone with a total stranger wherever he was going, and
yeah.
that's not the case. But like, I also shouldn't have recommended he just drive her back to the city,
Yeah.
to the city either, because she doesn't know him,
Yeah.
and like he could have been a
But
murderer.
he's so cute.
Right. That's it.
He does have a butt chin. This actor has like the cutest butt chin I've ever seen. It's adorable.
He just
So
looked like sweaty the whole movie.
he was sweaty the whole movie. Yeah,
It's
he
fine.
was
I
sweaty.
guess I would be a little.
He's going through a lot. They want to make sure you understand he's going through a lot. He's real sweaty.
Yeah, he's very, very moist throughout.
Very
whole
moist. Yeah.
movie.
Very moist.
Anyway, but yeah, then they kind of the bar scene was where they lost me. That was like that.
Yeah.
Up until that, I was like, okay, I'm okay with it. But honestly, what was that? Like the first 10 minutes of the movie,
Yeah.
and then that's where like everything started to just like go downhill violently because they show the waitress is like, I don't want to serve you anymore. You're clearly drunk and sweaty and crying. So it's probably time for you to go home. And he gets up and he like knocks over everything and bumps into everything. And then all of a sudden this bouncer is like, yeah, I'm gonna get you to come get you out of here. And then the perspective of the camera changes.
Yeah.
To it literally looked like a video
It's first
game,
person.
first
Yeah.
person.
It's so weird.
It was like really choppy. You know what I mean?
You know what? You know what movie I would use as a reference here? So they go into, for some reason, like during this sort of scuffle part where the bouncer grabs James, it goes into first person, like his perspective first for like a second. Right? But like none of the Silent Hill games are first person, first of all. But it looks super cheap on top of that. Like it looks like digital first person. Like if you've seen if anybody has seen Hardcore Henry, this is like a good reference point for this. There are some shots that like are so like everything is just so composited. The movie looks fine overall for what it is, but like they're like in Hardcore Henry, there's like a couple of shots that are just so comically composited that it's so hard to like stay immersed in it, right? And it's and but this is just a guy in a bar, and it looks so cheap.
Well, they had like his fists out. Right?
And he's
it was
like
suddenly
squeezing.
like, you are player one, James Sunderland.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it's like his fucking fists are out like
he's like holding his phone. He keeps getting phone calls. You don't know who it's from at first, but it ends up being from his therapist, and he's like he keeps looking at it but he won't answer it.
Right, and it's M, so like it's very mysterious, right? It could be Mary. And like, M for who, right?
But and if it could even be a mystery, which it's so hard to tell because he keeps shaking his fucking hand when he's holding it. But if it is meant to feel like a mystery, like, oh, who's calling, you find out like 5 minutes later. So like,
yeah,
what kind of fucking mystery is that? But like that whole scene, just the cinematography in this movie is just it's terrible. And it was bad in the first Silent Hill movie too. People will say it wasn't, but they will also point to scenes that were one-for-one ripoffs from the games. So like, is there anything else in that movie that was strong in terms of cinematography, or just not bare bones? Yep, this is what a movie should look like, you know? Because this movie never looks good ever. Not once. Actually, no. There is one scene in totality that I kind of like, but we'll get there. So yeah, so the bar scene is a mess.
Yeah.
And then they throw him, the bouncer fucking launches him, which I gotta give the actor credit. I'm pretty sure it was the actual actor who played James that did this stunt. They launch him across the alley and he flies into a pile of fucking trash cans.
Yeah, just trash bags.
Trash bags and stuff. Like, it looks painful, and I'm pretty sure that he did it. So good on him.
But then he like fell asleep
Yeah,
because
he
then the
falls
time
asleep in the
passes.
garbage. Yeah,
Yeah, and then M is calling again, and then
yeah,
that's when he finally picks it up, right?
yeah. I think M stands for my therapist,
Yeah.
is what
Yeah.
what it must be.
Mental health.
Mental health.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. But it's not Mary because it's just a
yeah.
lady.
Who I thought was gonna be. There's a moment later we'll get to. But I thought she by the end was gonna have a bigger role
Yeah. Yeah,
because
me
there's a
too.
moment where the movie I think is trying to tell you that she's like more involved in things than she is.
Yeah.
So real quick before we go any further, I just have to say because this will be a mess otherwise, I want to try to contain it a little bit. One of the big because this movie deviates entirely from the original game in terms of the actual story while simultaneously keeping all of the core kind of story beats in place. It's very fucking weird. So like, you know, starting at the rest stop, going down the mountain trail, meeting Angela in the cemetery by the church, getting into the town, fighting the lying figure, getting the first melee weapon, getting the radio, getting to Woodside Apartments, meeting Eddie, meeting Laura, seeing Pyramid Head the first time, like even the scene in the closet, like it's like beat for beat in order, like a condensed like all the events of Silent Hill 2 condensed into like an hour and 40 minutes, right? It's
Someone
bizarre.
called it a Cliff's Notes
Yeah,
version of
Cliff Notes
Silent
kind of,
Hill
but
2.
like the problem is they keep Christoph Gans deliberately kept very kind of like crucial aspects of the game in this film, but because of the changes to the story, the things he kept from the game directly conflict with the narrative, or there is no grounding for them, so they are like almost in the movie as just a reference or for shock value. So it's like really bizarre. And I almost feel that maybe stuff was cut from the movie because this movie is shorter than the first Silent Hill movie, right? Silent Hill 1 is the first Silent Hill movie is like 2 hours and 3 minutes. This movie was like an hour and 45, like with the credits, I think. Something like that. So it's like 20 to 30 minutes shorter than the first movie, but if you're gonna have a Silent Hill movie be long, it should probably be the one that is adapted from Silent Hill 2 because there's so much to get through. And they do sort of, condense some elements and to try to expedite the storytelling in a way that ends up. I laughed so fucking hard. It was painful, and I stifled my laughter because I didn't want to ruin the movie for anybody else because I kept forgetting that we were the only ones in there. But we'll get to that stuff. So yeah, in an order to kind of compress, condense, and make all of this make sense for the retelling of the story, they tie Mary's origin story to the town of Silent Hill itself, which I don't think they needed to do, and I think it would have actually been easier to tell this story if they didn't do that. Um, but basically, Mary's father is the guy who essentially like established this version of Silent Hill because this is not canon with Silent Hill 1 or Silent Hill Revelation, but even the town of Silent Hill is a completely different Silent Hill than those two movies, while simultaneously they still have like the falling ash and the coal fire underneath the town. So like it doesn't it's a weird, it's like not canon to those, but it retains elements from those that only exist in that version of Silent Hill that weren't in the games. So it's a bizarre, and maybe Christoph Gans just likes some of those elements, so he wanted to keep them in the movie, but it doesn't make sense. So anyway, back to the story. So they throw his ass in the trash
Yeah, he
where he
wakes
where he
up.
where he fucking belongs,
He
and
wakes
then
up. He stumbles back to his apartment, studio, whatever. It's just filled with paintings of you, Mary.
yeah, paintings of Mary, like just there. I think it's actually only one big painting that they focus on. It's just like her. She's got like blood on her face or something, blood on her lips or her fingers.
And then that's when he notices he throws the empty bottle of vodka on the floor, and then
Yeah, because he's drunk. You get it, guys?
yeah,
He's drinking because he's drunk. He's an alcoholic because he's drunk and he's depressed.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm out of this vodka.
I'm out of
And
vodka.
he throws it on the floor, and the bottle rolls perfectly to land right next to this letter.
Yeah, the
And
letter.
it's just like titled, sent James.
It just says James.
And then he makes the best decision of his entire life after reading this letter, after being shit-faced drunk.
Yeah.
Gets in his Mustang.
Yeah.
And drives in a storm again back to Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Like as if he hadn't already made several poor decisions, sleeping, getting thrown into trash, sleeping in it, getting drunk, all of these things. But then he's like, I know what the best idea is to get in my car and
yeah. I mean, this dude is absolutely fucking brick-faced at this point. He gets the letter. And by the way, the letter is just... I don't know. It's like they had a fucking intern write it. It's not the same letter as the game. And I'm not saying that it necessarily had to be, but it feels so... I wish we actually had the letter, like what the letter actually says, but it's so stripped down and it feels meaningless, even though the movie already establishes history with the two characters that the game didn't do. That initial reading of the letter in Silent Hill 2, the game, is so much more emotional and it's so much more impactful and really helps set the stage for the story to come. Whereas the movie, it just... I honestly don't even think they would have needed the letter for it to work. I think he could have just gone to Silent... Like, they could have used any excuse for him to go to Silent Hill or just be in Silent Hill. They didn't need the letter, but it's
also,
a poor...
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
They tried to do like this.
Oh yeah,
this
so
famous.
That's
something I've seen.
Right? The things they recreated. They recreate the bathroom scene like shot for shot, but it's like a combination of shots. They do the like stepping into the bathroom shot from the ground up, like the Silent Hill 2 remake, but then they do like the twisting Dutch angle by the urinals with James in the background by the sink. They do that shot from the original Silent Hill 2.
But they make him look like a video game character.
Yeah, there's... When he looks in the mirror...
When he looks in the mirrors, he looks like he's turned into... Like he's like an AI generated, or he's like a video game character. Every time he looked in the mirror in this movie, even in the bar scene before he turns into character one...
Yeah.
He gets up and looks in the mirror, and it is...
Yeah, I don't know if that's a lighting issue or if it's like a compositing issue because they're using a lot of CGI. Like they were doing it I don't really know. Yeah, it's hard to tell.
Like, to be like, hey, video game fans.
No,
he's a video game character.
I can't. It's a reference to the PS1 era, PS2 era video games. Because of the camera lighting digital trickery they turned him into. Oh, do we actually have the letter?
Well, I can't read that.
Yeah, no, don't worry about that.
But
is that the one from the movie?
This one is sort of... I'm begging you back to our place. Yeah, it's really hard to read.
Yeah, it's just a flat condensed version of the letter from the game. So anyway, yeah. So he gets the letter. He immediately gets in the car. He doesn't try to sleep or anything. He gets in the car immediately and goes, drives to Silent Hill. Now, to his credit, I believe in this version of Silent Hill, in this world, Silent Hill has not been destroyed by a fire. Like the town hasn't burnt down. At least James doesn't know that. So when he's going to Silent Hill thinking it's still the same like resort town, right? But then he he gets there and that's when he discovers like the falling ash and what the fuck happened. But the town burned down for a completely different reason. It's just like a summer fire because of the heat. It wasn't the same fire in the Silent Hill 1 that where they tried to kill Alessa and the town burnt down, and then the coal fire still burning underneath. It's a completely different reason. So I don't understand why any of this stuff was necessary. I don't even think the town needed to be destroyed. It could have just been abandoned. Because then Angela, because the next thing that happens is he meets Angela, in the cemetery, and she's piling up sandbags to create a wall, like a blockade, to keep the water, like the river, the lake, the in Silent Hill is rising. I don't remember what she said, but
She
the
just
lake,
talks about the water being contaminated.
yeah, the water is contaminated for a reason that is that is not related to the reason the town burned down. And she's piling up sandbags to create a wall to keep the water from basically consuming the cemetery, which
But like right from the start, and this is something I know about uh the game because I helped you do the graphics on uh your post-trauma video,
right, yeah,
and you asked for a picture of the abstract daddy,
yeah, yeah,
right? And so asking questions, I learned what that was, right?
yeah.
And then you kind of gave me that insight of Angela and abstract daddy and their, you know, how they relate to one another and all of that. But like right from the start in this movie, the second that you see Angela and like James takes a step towards her, she's like, ah, like
Yeah.
she's, I don't know if that's kind of how she is
Yeah,
in the
so here's the
game.
thing. She's like that in the game too. She has this sort of harrowed kind of like unspoken um like prickliness to her, and when James gets close she kind of acts a little shocked. But in the game there's the particular execution of that scene where they meet in the cemetery. It's way more um it's far better crafted in terms of like what they're trying to communicate to the player without saying too much. Like
Right.
they
I
do it.
felt like it was
Yeah,
very, very
it's
like
it's obvious
in the
immediately
game, like
that there's
they or in
something. Yeah,
the movie, I'm sorry, that like she is skittish of, I don't know. I felt like they were really trying to like go overboard to communicate that. And
yeah.
I don't care if a movie is gonna like explain something, or give like a sort of kind of set that up for it, but I don't know. It
Well,
just seems
here's the
very
larger issue.
over the top for
Here's the
me.
larger issue. By the end of the movie, that character ends up being completely fucking irrelevant anyway.
Right.
Angela Orozco is, to me, one of the most important characters in Silent Hill 2, and quite possibly the second most important character after like James and Mary. And I think she's a character that a lot of people relate to, and a lot of people have you know, just grown to love over the years. Her story is fucking tragic, and she really holds up a mirror to the player, to James, to and makes you think about stuff, makes you feel things. And the developers were able to do that in a way that was like subtle and non-intrusive, but also like effective. And it was just really brilliantly executed. And then, but she's a character. She has her own agency, her own motivation. She's in Silent Hill for her own reasons, not dissimilar to James, right? They are separate characters. But in Silent Hill 2, and I don't want to spoil it yet, but we'll get to this, but Angela ends up not mattering whatsoever in the grand scheme. In fact, her inclusion, I think, harms the overall narrative or muddies the narrative surrounding Mary and James, and we'll get to why. I think keeping her out of the movie and just honestly just focusing on James and Mary, I think would have been better, because I know I kind of complained about the movie being too short a little bit ago, but I think you could cut another fucking 20 or 30 minutes out of this piece of shit, and it would make more sense, and I think it would flow better.
Yeah, but we talked about like this is something I mentioned, right? That whenever I imagine these terrible decisions that are made for movies or anything, right? I imagine just like a bunch of dudes in a room and they're like fist bumping and high fiving, right? Because somebody was like, oh, okay, and we got to include Angela, right?
Yeah.
And then they were like, okay, hear me out, right?
Yeah.
And they were like, what if Angela, and then I won't spoil it, but like was, and
Yeah.
then everyone's like, oh
Yeah,
shit.
and then they all shit
And then
themselves and they
like
jorked
just
each other
fucking,
off.
yeah, like
They just grabbed each other's dicks and
yeah,
started
they just
yoinking. Yeah.
yeah, and like That's what I imagine happened in that room where they
Yeah.
thought they were really gonna fucking blow people's
Yeah.
minds. And it ended up just being like,
You know what it reminds me of? I mentioned last night, and I still stand by this. I mentioned that last night that the movie that this reminds me most of is Batman v Superman, in the way that it is edited and the pacing, where there's no establishing shots, there's no solid timeline, there's no real clear idea of where you are at any given time and what's actually going on. And that's not necessarily a problem in psychological horror, I don't think, but I feel like in this movie they could have done a bit more to clear things up because I even as someone who is I'm a huge fan of psychological horror. I fucking love psychological horror. I love psychological horror that makes no sense. That I watch and afterwards I'm sitting there and going like, what the fuck did I just like? I love like real head trippy type stuff. I've always been a big fan of David Lynch, who was obviously his work was a huge inspiration for the creation of this franchise in general. And if you are a fan of like real good cerebral psychological horror, like deep emotional psychological storytelling, I cannot imagine what you'll get out of this movie because again, it feels like a series of vignettes. You know what it reminds me of? When you go to one of those haunted houses, it's just like a walking path.
yeah,
And you look to your left and right, and there's just like little rooms or cells where there's like a scene happening. Like a doctor with a chainsaw and like, a creepy demon who's like eating babies.
well, yeah.
That's what this movie felt like. It felt like
was
James was
literally-
going through the haunted house and like.
So here's the thing. It honestly felt like, I and I could be completely off base here, but like it felt like you're playing like a really shitty video game where like you're suddenly jumping like into next levels without like, do you know what I mean? Like you're not completing the next.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like,
Sure.
like you have to like you still have to go back to that room.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
still explore more in that room. Right?
Yeah. But instead of
But
just having some loot in that room, it's like key story elements that you're missing.
Yeah. And so like you're there, because he goes into the town after Angela, then goes and you have like homeless man jump scare, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
and he's all
So after
homeless."
Angela, and this is again, this actually leads to a moment that I do like. He gets done talking to Angela and he walks up to the church, and then he looks at the church and he has a flashback of him and Mary having like a little picnic date in the grass in front of that church by that cemetery. It's like really well lit. The sun's out. It's like the middle of the afternoon.
Yeah.
And he has his canvas out and he's like painting her in front of the church.
Oh, he's got a whole ass painting of her.
Got the whole thing, and he painted it, and they're like they're there together, and they're kissing, and it's like it's real cute. Like, ironically, that's the stuff I liked the most was like the flashbacks of like James and Mary.
Well, and then she gets a nosebleed.
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
Like, dun dun dun.
Yeah,
Foreshadowing.
she's
going to
like
be
she gets on
sick.
top of him. They're kissing and rolling around, and she gets on top of him like her nose bleeds. I think it like drips onto his face or something, and he's like, whoa. And then he like she kind of giggles and laughs it off. He grabs a thing and like helps her clean up.
It's fine.
I'm not like those
Yeah.
other girls. I'm gonna die soon.
Yeah.
So that's like your little foreshadowing there, which they do. They kind of communicate that in the game. So the role that just so you know, because you have not played the original game, right? In the original game, they utilize the relationship between James and Maria to sort of be a reflection of certain aspects of he and Mary's relationship or his inner desires or whatever. And they're together. The game is obviously longer than the movie, right? Okay. So James and Maria are together for a longer period of time.
Gotcha.
They go through more, they do more. And you kind of get a sense of what Mary might have gone through certain things you see happen to Maria throughout the story, which is far more interesting than having just a straight flashback that shows you and tells you. And again, in the movie, I do like it. Like I think those two actors they're just really nice together. They do a good job.
Well, and that's also in that flashback is when he tells her or asks her, what if he moved here?
Yeah.
To Silent Hill.
Yeah, he's like, what if I moved in with you because I'm a painter, so I obviously am fucking broke.
Yeah.
So can I crash on your couch, Mary?
Yeah.
And then she's like, what did she say?
And
She's
she was like,
we just met each other.
Yeah.
But we've only had sex 14 times today. I don't know if I'm ready for that.
But what if you don't like the dark things about me?
Yeah.
Dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun.
What if you don't like that I'm not like those
And then
other
it's like
girls?
this like whispery, it just trails off. So it's just like the voice of him, and he's like, I promise I'll never leave you.
Yeah.
I promise I'll be here no matter what.
Yeah.
And then it's like, that's not true because obviously they were apart.
Yeah, because
So
obviously
it's like,
you were asleep in a bar at the beginning
yeah,
of the movie, you
so
fucking
you
asshole.
something obviously went
So
wrong.
yeah, so you get the flashback, you see the church, and then he gets into the town, and then it's just it looks like Silent Hill from the first Silent Hill movie. It's like the falling ash, everything's gray. Everything looks super cheap. It looks like baby's first CGI. We have like I hate to say this. I don't want to platform AI, but like AI would make something that looks better than this, which is insane to me. It just looks so unbearably cheap, and like even for $23 million, I've seen what some people can have created on their own on like YouTube using different various engines and things like that. It's just like it just looks so, I don't know how else to say it. It sounds so reductive. I want to talk more, but it just looks so cheap.
Yeah.
But he finds he hears the radio going off. I think it's actually like playing a song or something,
Yeah,
or
yeah. He
something.
hears music.
Yeah, he follows the music, and it leads to this alleyway, and there's like a hobo sleeping under a blanket. And I think it's kind of meant to build suspense, like, oh, he's gonna go up to the blanket, and it's gonna get you. And then nothing happens. He like touches whoever's under the blanket, nothing happens, and he looks over at the radio, and the radio kind of starts going funny, I think. And
Yeah,
then
it goes staticky.
the hobo wakes up, and he's like, "The darkness is coming."
Yeah.
It's like, why are you here, dude? There've got to be better places to sleep than like literal hell, man.
Yeah.
But he's like, "The darkness is coming. You got to get out of here, Mister Sunderland." And then so James takes the radio with him, and the first lying figure shows up, and I gotta say,
Well, hold on. He doesn't take the radio until after homeless man dies. I don't think.
oh,
he
that's
just,
right, yeah,
steals
he
the
he
radio.
tries to leave the tunnel to get away from the homeless guy. The lying figure shows up.
Is that what they're called?
The lying figure, yeah.
Acid spitters.
Yeah, yeah.
Armless acid.
It was also the enemies in Silent Hill 1.
Armless acid spitters.
Yeah, that's what another game would call them.
Yeah.
But they don't. Well, no, they have arms. If you notice in the movie, their arms are like broken back behind them, like they're being bound, like they're being held back.
Oh, okay.
Whereas in the original game, they look more like they do in the first Silent Hill movie, where it almost looks like someone in like a straitjacket or something. It's
I like the design of them. They're very cool.
yeah,
That's
I don't.
something I thought. Okay. I thought that was positive. I mean, I personally like
Yeah, I
the
think
way
this will
they
be a
look.
matter of just taste, right?
Yeah, I mean, I
'Cause
just like the way
they're
they look.
fine.
They're creepy.
It's
Like, I like
inoffensive.
creepy
They're fine.
things,
Yeah,
but,
they
like,
are creepier in this than they were in the first. In the first Silent Hill movie, all of the creatures just look like people in
like
costumes,
their rib cage.
so they're a little
opens
less
up, they
freaky. But
spit
in this one, it
acid.
looks like a person in a costume. It looks like someone in mocap, and then with a CGI monster on top of it. Because there is some human motion to it,
I'm
but it
not
looks.
talking about the actual movie. I'm saying the design of the monster.
Oh,
itself,
sure, yeah,
I thought was very neat.
yeah, yeah. They're fine.
I don't how it was portrayed is I just was like, oh, that's cool. It's
Yeah.
it's weird. I like it.
They're fine. My biggest issue with it, and this stems all the way back to the first Silent Hill movie, is those creatures are such a core aspect of the game's sort of like vibe and atmosphere and aesthetic that when you take them out and just shove them into live action, it just doesn't have the same impact.
But again, this
but
is
that's
from
because
my perspective
yeah.
of having, just a fresh, like not having ever visited Silent Hill.
What was your favorite creature in the movie, actually? I don't care if we spoil stuff.
Like Moth Mary, probably. And it was. Are you talking like I liked it? Because
Yeah,
it
just
was
like you
good?
like the way it looks. Yeah.
Oh, then it was those
The lying figures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moth Mary was my favorite because she was comical. It was hilarious.
Yeah. Fuck me. We'll get to that. So back to the story.
The homeless dude, he gets burnt by
Yeah. So the lying
acid.
figure, she scorches. James gets out of the way. The acid lands on the homeless guy.
And then he finds like steel pipe or wrench. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. What is it that he grabs again?
weapon.
He
I don't
pulls
know.
it. He pulls it out. There's like a little crate that's got like pipes sticking out of it. I think he grabs like the little metal pipe. It looks kind of like the steel pipe in Silent Hill 2 remake. It's shorter.
Yeah.
But like, what the fuck are you gonna do with the steel pipe, James?
And then he
Jack shit.
runs around, and um, that's when he steals the radio, because he goes back and he sees that the homeless dude now no longer needs the radio because he's dead.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, yoink, and he takes the radio.
It was pretty
and then
gruesome
runs.
too.
Yeah.
The homeless dude gets covered in the acid from the lying figure, and it like just the dude like literally starts to liquefy, and it's actually a really cool, like really good practical effects they did. And then it, like he walks by this, like I'm a big fan of gore. I don't think gore has any place in Silent Hill. Silent Hill's always been far more subtle and, you know, doesn't focus on violence and gore and graphic imagery and stuff. But I do like, you know, I just in general I like practical effects in movies, so it was cool to see some practical stuff. And the way they create his corpse practically, he's like still breathing and his tongue is like moving in like what's left of his mouth. It's really fucking grisly looking. And I gotta say, like whoever was in charge of the practical effects on this movie, some of the stuff looks fucking awesome. Like that looked really cool. Hopefully they move on to bigger and better movies though, because they deserve a raise, or to at least not be attached to such shit movies. But
that's when he goes to the apartment building.
Yeah.
After that.
So what happens then is the siren goes off for the first time.
Right, yes.
And he takes the radio with him because he figures out how the radio works. The siren goes off the first time, and then the town kind of starts transforming into the nightmare version, and there's lying figures like everywhere. And having one at a time.
No, then there's bugs. Then it's bugs.
Oh yeah,
that's when the
bugs start coming out from underground and chasing him. The lying figures are coming, and he's just running, and he's trying to find a way through. And
then the bugs are actually eating one of the lying figures.
Yeah, the bugs are eating one of the lying figures, which again, the bugs are shaped like penises, and they are attacking the female monster, the woman, because the male aggressor is attacking the woman. That imagery is very pervasive throughout the film, even though it doesn't have nearly the relevance in this movie that it did in the game, and we'll get into that as we get more into the nitty gritty.
Then he goes to the apartment into
the storm basically chases him. It's more like the Silent Hill 2 remake, because in the original game you just go to the apartments, but in the remake you get there's this big fucking storm and it like chases you to the apartments. It's so lame. And they do kind of the same thing in the movie. It's actually weird how much they.
And when they meet, she was like, "Tee these are just summer storms that Silent Hill has."
Yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, the way I know we're all over the place, but just fucking deal with it.
So is this movie.
So is this movie, yeah. When James and Mary first meet, at the end of that scene, and this is actually a really cool edit that I like. It's not very subtle, but I just like the way it looks. The sky goes crazy, like it goes black, the clouds move in real quick over the sun, and Mary's like, it's just a summer storm.
Yeah, Silent Hill gets these sometimes.
Yeah, we get these. And then she like the wind's like blowing her hair, and then it's like a hard cut where it's like a perfect edit. Like I gotta give them credit for this, like, because this shot's really cool. I think it's way too overt, but it cuts to her like underwater, like drowning. Yeah. Like her eyes are like white, she's dead. Yeah. It's like just a really cool shot.
That's when he wakes up from the bar.
And that's when he wakes up in the bar. Yeah. We're gonna remember stuff. Listen, this movie's a fucking mess, so we're gonna be it's gonna be a mess, okay? But hopefully we can have some fun discussion while we're here. So yeah, so he runs into the Woodside Apartments.
Which also, by the way, just a side note, it looks really nice. Like, not when it's in the nightmare version of the town, but like the glass doors. It's like really swanky. Like
I noticed that too.
Of, like New York City apartment buildings that like high rise.
Yeah, this version of Silent Hill, like in the original game, just games in general, like the town of Silent Hill, there's no like real timeline in Silent Hill.
Yeah.
The original 4 games don't give you an idea of what years anything is really taking place.
Yeah.
The only thing you have are like very vague reference points. Like in the first game, Harry drives a Jeep Wrangler, but it's like a Wrangler from like the 80s.
Wait.
The model.
Hold on.
But this movie explicitly says at one point that it takes place in 2017, I think.
Hold on, I think we just missed a part.
What?
Because he goes before the apartments, doesn't he go into Heaven's Night? Isn't that where he goes in when the homeless guy?
Does he go to Heaven's Night? Yeah, because
you said
Heaven's
Night already.
So yeah,
which also is very like swankified, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like when he goes in the flashback, and this was something I really wanted to mention to you, but I was trying to like hold it all for today
Yeah.
instead of talking about it. But he goes in, and Heaven's Night, because again, I've done some art stuff for you and the host and stuff, and I saw pictures of Heaven's Night,
Yeah.
right? So when he goes in there, I'm expecting it's gonna look like a fucking trash heap of a bar, right? Like
Yeah.
a super divey, disgusting bar
Yeah.
with like gross old dirty tiles and stuff, right? And then it flashes back, and it's like the swankiest fucking nightclub of all time, and
Yeah.
she's introducing James to her really fucking weird group of friends who are obviously a cult.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they're literally an obvious cult, right? It that scene
Oh,
made my teeth hurt. Like I was like
yeah.
grinding my teeth, because it was like, if you introduced me to all of your friends and they were all like, yes, yes, Oz's father saved us. Me too, me too. He changed our lives. He changed our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really
He
great.
put
Yeah.
my head on
Oh,
straight.
hail Joshua Crane.
Yeah.
And then they're like, you're gonna really love it here.
Yeah.
I would be like, hey, we're breaking up.
Yeah.
Or like we're moving
Yeah.
literally anywhere
This isn't
else.
gonna work. It's
Yeah.
not me. It's you and all your fucking freaky
like
friends, bro.
also, like, we're hip and like young, and these people look significantly older than you, and you're in a cult, girl. Like, you're in a cult.
Yeah.
You were in a It was
Well,
very
it's weird. It's
obvious.
weirder than that because she acknowledges that. Like, she later in the story she knows that. So like
Well, she does know that, but like,
it's weird that she would allow, if she's going to be in Silent Hill, if she really cared about James, this version of Mary, if she really cared about James, she wouldn't have allowed him to come back to Silent Hill with her. She would have been like, I care about you too much. You should not be here.
well, but that's the thing. They have that talking to, and that comes later, right?
Yeah.
First, you get the introduction to the weird, creepy friends,
Yeah.
the cult friends,
Yeah.
which sets off every alarm bell, and he's kind of like, cool. But then they have, when he goes into the apartments and has a flashback of when they're all like surrounding her in the room.
Yeah, and they're like, you can't be with James.
Yeah, because
he's a normie.
Yeah, because yeah, like he either needs to fucking join us,
Yeah.
or like basically they're telling her the fact that you love him is distracting you from your greater purpose.
Yeah.
So like,
which her greater purpose ends up being so vague and nebulous, but we'll get to that.
So it's a weird thing of, and that's sort of where he's like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? But that would have been a red flag for me from the fucking start. If we went into a club and you introduced me to all of those people that are in the movie, and they all spoke like that, I've studied a lot of cults, weirdly, like, but there's a very distinct way that people talk when, there's like cult language kind of, and that's what this is. I get it. Silent Hill, there's aspects of it, from what I understand, that there's a mysterious cult, so they weaved that in. But if it was real life and that was a real life situation and I was James, I would have been like, fucking peace out, bitch. I'm out. Like, let's leave. Let's go to a normal place, because clearly this is not the vibe, right?
Here's kind of the problem though. Like, in Silent Hill 2, the game, the cult is not involved in that story at all.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Their impact and presence in the town is relevant in Silent Hill 1, 3, and 4.
Okay. Yeah.
In Silent Hill 2, it's hyper focused on James, his journey, Maria, and then you have Angela, Eddie, Laura kind of coming into the fold, and their purpose in the story is uncovered as the game goes on. The cult is notably not an aspect of Silent Hill 2, the original. Here, Christoph Gans, for some reason, and it not only has he dragged this cult into this story and directly tied Mary's origin to it, which I feel really kind of like harms her sort of original purpose as sort of being like James's light. Like she's portrayed as being like James's light
Yeah.
in Silent Hill 2.
Yeah.
And in this movie, it's just really not
She
it's
wasn't.
not the same.
It
And
was
even,
like she was his muse in this movie, and she's his everything kind of thing.
oh, it's also another thing to note too is they're not married in the in the movie. The movie portrays it like they meet, they start dating, and they're together for like maybe a few months before she dies.
Yeah, they're just like in like a really seriously
Or
committed
no,
relationship.
specifically, and again, this will be us jumping around, but specifically, like they're together for a few months, and then cult activity ramps up. James finds out about it, leaves Silent Hill, then only comes back way later after he finds out she's dying. So, like, their time together is quite brief. Whereas in the original game, they don't talk about how long they had been together, but they were married. Mary was James's wife. Like, so there's an implication that they had a deeper life together.
Sure.
And that life was outside of Silent Hill, so it was probably quiet and not disturbed by cult activity and all this other bullshit. It's not the same Mary from the game. It's also not the same James, which is, that's fine. I'm not against that stuff inherently. But this version of Mary, her relationship to the cult, her father basically being the founding member of this cult and being a pivotal figure in Silent Hill's development, like it all, ironically, it's meant to help expedite this story, but I feel like all it does is muddy the story.
I really feel like, again, this was just a group of dudes sitting in a room, like throwing out ideas, like, I'm just fucking workshopping here. And then they just like throw shit out, and then they all high five, and they said, "What if we just tied in a cult somehow, right?"
Yeah, and then
like,
they
why
and
would
then they,
Mary not want to leave Silent Hill, right? What would tie her to Silent Hill? Oh, well, because she's family. Her father was the founding member of Silent Hill, and
let me ask you a question. Which one of these do you think is more endearing? Um, I'm from a small town, right? You met me and we fell in love in a very short period of time. And then you found out I was in a cult, and doing crazy, heinous cult shit. And then I refused to leave with you after that, after you found that out. And then later you found out that I was dying, and then you came back to town and I died. And all of that happens presumably in a very short span of time. Or we met elsewhere, we fell in love, we got married, we spent years together, and then we went on vacation in a little resort town called Silent Hill, the Lakeview Hotel, this nice quaint little town. And that was the last real happy time we spent together before I got deathly ill and you had to watch me deteriorate. Which one of those is more endearing, do you think?
well, obviously the second one.
Yeah, that's not what happened in this movie.
The first one would not.
It's a I don't understand what Christoph Gans's like intention was in, like, I don't here's the thing, people will complain about this, so I'm just going to go ahead and get this out of the way now. I don't care if they change story elements. I don't care if they loosely adapt and they change and they do XYZ. Like, I don't mind that stuff specifically, but then they at the same time are utilizing things basically in their original context, but shoving them into this new context where they don't necessarily work, or they, again, like I keep saying, like they kind of muddy the waters a little bit. Like it makes less sense because they're utilizing elements from the game one for one. And we'll get to some of the really egregious examples in that. And then trying to shove that into this new narrative, which I just don't think any of it works. So let's get back to the story.
So they're in the apartment. He
Yeah.
has the flashback of.
Oh, I wanted to comment on this real quick. So you were talking about the design of the buildings, right?
Yeah.
So in the original, like the original Silent Hill town, I was talking about the timeline, right? It's decades, hundreds of years old. Silent Hill has a really sordid history. It was like a settler colony, and then there was like a prison camp. A bunch of people died, got sick. It sounds like an insane history. And then the supernatural power of the town was co-opted by this cult, and that's when all the activity began that led to Silent Hill 1 and so on. But in terms of the design, it just looks like an old town. Okay. Like it's not.
Yeah.
But in the movie, this version of Silent Hill looks like a super swanky, expensive, like
Yeah.
resort town. It looks like, I don't know, like Chicago or New York or something. Like it's
Well, it
really
just had elements of it,
like Heaven's Night in the game looks like a strip club where people have cigarette burns on their legs,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
In this one, Heaven's Night is just like a really swanky bar.
Yeah, it's a really nice. It was glossy.
Not even a bar. It looks like somewhere
It was a club.
It looks
was
like
a
it looks
club.
like somewhere you'd go to have fucking brunch.
It looked like a. It looked honestly like a. Um, it looked like a pretentious
But the
nightclub.
sign, but the Heaven's Night sign was still like that sort of old school,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
cursive-y.
But again, the doors to the apartment building are glass, and they, like I said, it looks
Yeah.
like a New York City high rise.
No, the Woodside
very.
apartments in the game are like absolute shit.
But then you go into the apartments, and they're not fancy. Although
Yeah.
they are very large, I will say that. So there was a lot of
It
that,
was
but
yeah, the apartment building. Yeah, Woodside
so
looked big in the movie.
it's
Yeah.
fine. But anyway, it just didn't seem to. It was confusing to me because every version of Silent Hill I've ever seen looked abandoned.
Yeah.
Right. And it didn't look like it was a thriving business, or the flower shop and all of as he's going into the town and he's clearing out
Looking through
windows
windows
and
and stuff,
I
yeah.
was like, oh, look at all this stuff. They had these really nice shops and all this stuff.
You go by the flower shop in Silent Hill 2, you see it, and you actually go into it in the remake, and it looks like that. It's like everything's old and brown and withered, and
Yeah, well, because it's abandoned and everybody
yeah.
left, right?
But the inconsistency in the design behind some of the buildings in the town, it's a real weird mashup of design elements where it ironically, even though the town was clearly founded by someone specific, it feels like it was built by 10 different people who all had 10 different ideas. It's a weird
it was
weird
weird
design choices.
Yeah.
So he goes to Heaven's Night. This is back to the timeline. So after the hobo, he actually goes into Heaven's Night. Because that first lying figure escapes under a car. Like he goes to fight it with the pipe. I think he hits it, and it runs from him, and it crawls under the car and goes into the sewer.
I think he's in Heaven's Night when the hobo dies because he hears a scream, and that's what drags him
Yeah.
out of there.
So he's in Heaven's Night. He comes out, and then that's when Hobo dies. He grabs the radio. More lying figures come. The bugs come out of the ground. The bugs are back. They come out of the ground, and then Siren goes off and all that shit. That's when that happens, and all of that basically just chases him into Woodside. That's when Woodside begins. So
where he closes the glass doors, and then he puts a piece of wood there, even
Yeah.
though the bugs came out of vents, right, out of grates in the ground.
Well, the ground turned into almost like a fence material, which is something you
Yeah.
kind of see in Silent Hill
Okay.
1. You don't really see that as much in Silent Hill 2. That kind of rusty metal barbed wire cagey aesthetic is really more so a Lessus thing. Doesn't really have as much to do with James.
I feel like they just really
I think
merged it
Christoph
all
Gans
together.
just has a specific thing he likes from the games,
Sure.
and he takes this and that. Which again, I don't mind that stuff. But in terms of psychological horror, it all has to have relevance to the character. In Silent Hill 2, everything is either connected to James, Mary, Eddie, or Angela. Everything
Yeah.
has an explicit purpose and is connected to a specific character. And then you have moments where the characters' stories kind of overlap, and you see a mashup of elements, which is really cool. And those characters sort of experience something from the other person's story. It's really
So, can you explain to me what Eddie's purpose is?
Oh God. Okay. So we get to Woodside. We have the worst jump scare imaginable. He's just standing there with the holding a light or whatever, and he turns around. Or no, he doesn't have the flashlight yet. The jump scare happens when he has the flashlight, right? He turns around and there's just a real fast,
yeah,
a woman
yeah.
bleeding. I think it's supposed to be Mary, but you can't tell.
Yeah.
Because then you see her fading into the darkness up the stairs. She's like, James.
Yeah, and then he tries to go in the apartment, and then he has that memory of him moving his stuff in.
Yeah, he starts walking up the stairs and then has the memory. And it's actually a really clean transition. Where he is on the stairs, it transitions it perfectly into him carrying a box of painting supplies up or whatever.
It literally is all this man has, is just canvas.
It's all he owns. He drinks and eats paint. He owns nothing else.
He has not
Motherfucker.
He is not an
He
item.
takes 2 canvases and puts fucking red and yellow paint between them and eats a fucking sandwich.
A canvich.
A canvich. A canvich.
Anyway, yeah. Literally, they really drive the point home. Like, James
Okay,
is an artist.
he's a fucking painter. Which, you know what annoys me the most? That I feel like he's only a painter for one of 2 reasons. I know that Christoph Gans has read some of the graphic novels because of Christabella from the first Silent Hill movie. That name comes from one of the graphic novels.
Okay.
I can't remember, and that comes from Dying Inside, but I can't remember which one it is where one of the characters is like a tortured artist, and everything he paints somehow comes to life, or it acts as like a portal. I can't remember. I haven't read that graphic novel since it came out, but it was really bad. But there's like this just tortured artist, and he has nightmares about Silent Hill, and he paints them, and shit goes crazy.
Yeah.
So either that's why James is an artist, or, and I have a better theory, Christoph Gans is getting really old, and he wants to live vicariously through his characters and his work. So he made James this badass, pot-smoking, Mustang driving, desirable to the ladies, fucking a troubled artist guy.
Yeah.
He's so fucking cool, man. He's got a black jacket.
Yeah,
It's not even a leather jacket, by the way. It looks like a leather jacket in the trailers because he's like wet in one scene, but in the movie it's just like a black canvas jacket.
Scenes. What do you mean?
It's like denim or canvas.
He's literally wet in every.
He's moist
scene.
the whole time.
He is dewy.
The fucker is soaked.
Yeah.
Juicy James.
Yeah.
They call him Juicy James. This is Juicy James Sunderland. They call him Juicy James. So I think that Christoph Gans really wanted to live vicariously through this character, and he made him a cool young artist who smokes weed and fucking paints cool dead chicks, and
it literally is like he's just here's another box of canvas, and I was like, Jesus, dude.
How much
like,
canvas do you need,
how many canvases do you have? Like that's a lot, but and every painting is just Mary, which, like, dude, obsess, great, cool, I'm totally obsessed with you, I love you. If I could paint that way, I would paint you constantly. But like,
I just draw a stick figure with big ass titties. That's what I do when I'm drawing you.
Just like a really
good drawing of you.
Yeah, that is accurate.
So he gets to Woodside. He was walking around. I can't remember what happens first in Woodside after the jump scare, but he's just looking around. I think there's some flashback stuff. Oh, he does find the flashlight before Eddie. So he goes outside. There's actually one thing I do kind of like. All the windows are like tinted red in there. Kind of, I think, a reference to the save points in Silent Hill 2. And at one point, he looks through one of them, and it kind of resembles the save points in the game when you save and you see James's face. And, like, little details like that aren't, like, too overt, that are, like, nice little Easter eggs or callbacks to the game. Stuff like that's kind of cool. I really appreciate that. It was nice. It was a nice attention to detail, nice set design stuff. But he goes outside, he climbs up a balcony, which he has no reason to really do, but he does it.
He couldn't get up the stairs because there was a gate.
Right, yeah, correct. So there's a gate blocking the stairs.
To their old apartment, but he couldn't get
so
to
he
it.
goes outside, he climbs up the outside of the balcony. When he gets up there's like a human silhouette in the window, and he thinks it's Mary, so he opens the door, he goes in, and it's the mannequin from the original game that holds the light, and it's wearing Mary's dress, which happens in the game.
Okay. And
the mannequin wearing the dress with the light, kind of that first symbol that, like, Mary was James's light, like his guiding light, because this is his source of joy, But the subversion there was in the original game, when you find the flashlight and you equip it and you turn it on, that's when you fight the first mannequin creature. The mannequins are not in the movie at all.
Yeah.
The lying figures are, Pyramid has, unfortunately, and we'll get to it later, Abstract Daddy is, and then Moth Mary is in the movie.
And then that weird creature that
right, but here's the thing. So let's just go through here and I'll explain why. So he gets the flashlight, turns it on, and he ends up finding, it looks like it's clearly meant to be Mary, but she's like laying on the ground naked, like emaciated, bald.
Yeah.
Like clearly representing the sick and dying aspect, right? And her head completely twists around and disconnects and rolls off towards him. And I got flashbacks of that fucking thing from Silent Hill Revelation, the CGI mannequin spider that makes spider webs out of like plastic or whatever. So lame. I got immediately thought like, please don't. I thought it was going to turn into that monster. I immediately got scared, but not for the reasons the movie wanted me to. And that thing, her body then stands up and turns into. I thought it was like a spider or a crab, but
it kind of looks like a spider.
but what it actually is a moth without wings. It's the same.
Oh.
They show that moth at the end up close.
Okay.
And that's when I realized, oh, that's what she was. She just didn't have the wings. It was like a moth without wings. Well, I don't think that means anything, but or you could say maybe the idea of like the moth having its wings removed or the absence of its wings is some reference to its.
She can't be free. She can't fly away.
Yeah, she's trapped. She can't be free. But I don't think that was necessarily the intention here. But then it chases James. Wait, no. I think we skipped something.
You skipped Eddie, like the entire.
Yeah, well,
Eddie
the movie skipped Eddie. So let's get back. So
Eddie's throwing up in the toilet.
Yeah, so he finds the flashlight first.
Yeah.
Then he finds Eddie. Okay, so yeah, because he has like a horror moment or a flashback of some kind
where the cult members, aka
the talking friends, to
besties, are talking to her about like, girl, you need to quit James.
Girl, you can do so much better.
Like, he's really fucking up our cult program. Like, you can't love him. Like, girl, he doesn't fit here. He doesn't go here.
The bake sales aren't the same without you.
Yeah, like he can't sit with us.
So that happens, and then he comes to, like, the sound of Eddie puking wakes him up.
Yeah.
Or kind of brings him back. And he walks over to the bathroom. Eddie's in there puking. And I'm about to drop like a crazy specific niche reference that not everyone is going to get. I can describe Eddie, because Eddie's only in this one scene. He doesn't come back later and get, and fight James. He's only in this one section, this one part. If you have seen Orange County, it's one of my favorite comedies of all time. Jack Black in Orange County is literally Eddie in this movie. It's 1 for 1. I was fucking dying inside, no pun intended, dying inside when he showed up because he looks like him. He sounds like him. It's fucking hilarious, dude.
Is that what you were laughing at?
Yes. Okay. Because he looks and sounds just like Jack Black in Orange County. I could not control myself. I was dying. So if you are an Orange County fan and you haven't seen this movie, just trust me when I say that's exactly what it is, and now you'll never be able to unsee it if you see this movie. But he talks to Eddie. They have a pretty similar interaction to the original game. They talk more here than they did in the original game because Eddie ends up leaving the bathroom and coming with James.
Explaining why he loves living in Silent Hill so much because there's no more dick.
Because there's no one else there, and there's no more assholes or whatever in Silent Hill.
But that's when they go across like around the corner and they find the hallway or whatever it's caged, it's gated, and then Laura's on the other side.
That's an iconic moment because in the original game you find that cage, there's a key on the floor on the other side, and you go to reach for it, and then Laura shows up for the first time and kicks the key out of the way. She seems like a little dickhead at first, but you end up understanding why she is the way she is over the course of the game. She's not like a little ghost girl like this bitch is. And you're gonna
they go to investigate because they hear a baby crying.
Right. Yeah, so James hears a baby crying and he's like, Eddie, do you hear that? And he's like, I don't hear anything. And then they go around the corner, they find that caged wall that you would remember from the Woodside Apartments in the game. And instead of a key on the ground, they see Laura hiding in the wall. Like there's like a panel in the bottom of the wall that's pulled out. She's like hiding in there and she's holding like a baby doll. And you don't hear the baby crying anymore. So she's in there, she's holding the baby, and she literally looks like generic. Laura essentially fills the role in this that the Reaper / Dark Alessa filled in Silent Hill 1, where she is actually kind of helping guide James through certain aspects of the story and game to get him to a certain point. And in the original game, that wouldn't make nearly as much sense. In this, there's a specific reason why it's a payoff that made me laugh so fucking hard I almost choked on my Reese's Pieces. So they find Laura. They're like, Laura, come with us. And she tries to leave. She tries to like actually come with them because she can almost squeeze through the bars. but then Pyramid Head shows up, and she closes the panel in the wall to hide.
Right.
And you hear Eddie say something along the lines of, he's like, "Oh, you woke him up," or something. So Pyramid Head already exists in Silent Hill as like a monster that people would know if they're there, I guess.
Yeah, and he really is protective of his sleep.
Yeah, he's a sleepy boy. He's like, "You woke me up."
Yeah,
I thought, because I had a feeling early on, because this movie is not that long compared to the other one, and it takes the movie, like, you don't actually get to Silent Hill with James until like 15 minutes in, 20 minutes in almost. Like, considering how condensed the elements of the game are, like the beats of the game are, it's crazy how much filler there actually is, and the beginning is really long. So like when I saw Eddie, I was like, there's no way he's going to be around the whole movie. I thought Pyramid Head was just going to kill him there to kind of showcase the brutality, because I didn't think that what was about to happen was going to be in the movie.
So what significance does Eddie have in the game?
Eddie is
what's his purpose?
So Eddie is both a separate character with his own motivation, his own story, who winds up in Silent Hill for a different reason, and goes through his own journey, not dissimilar to what James is going through, not dissimilar to what Angela's going through, but crosses paths with James. And kind of like Angela, Eddie is, because of what he's gone through and what he's done, also sort of holds a mirror up to James as a reflection of what James is going through. Eddie sort of represents the aggressor, the violent side of James, because Eddie killed someone. He also killed a dog, and he's kind of losing his mind because he wasn't wrapped too tight. He was bullied for being fat and all these other things. And in the movie, he just looks like a gross fat guy.
Yeah.
He looks like he literally looks like Jack Black from Orange County. I can't fucking get it out of my head. We need to do a side-by-side for the video. But in the original game, he like almost dresses like a toddler.
Yeah.
He's wearing like a fucking polo that doesn't fit. Like first of all, horizontal stripes are for children. Okay. So jot that down. And Eddie has like khaki shorts with his butt crack hanging out, and his socks. He's wearing like long white socks, all scrunched up, and backwards cap and a polo shirt. Like he dresses like a kid. You know what I mean? And he's clearly, not wrapped very tight. Like he's not all there. And then he's pushed to an absurd degree by people in his life, the bullies, etc. Ultimately leading to him killing someone, killing that person's dog, or just a dog in general, and then essentially escaping to Silent Hill and being on the run, and then just continues to spiral until James ultimately has to put him down, sort of in a way becoming who Eddie was. Like again, they're kind of reflections of one another.
Okay.
In the movie, Eddie serves no purpose. He's there because remember Eddie. Remember Eddie? That's it. Remember Eddie puking in the toilet? He doesn't even have the gun. Like, he's just there. He literally is just there.
They go around the corner, and they see that thing. He's like, you woke Pyramid Head up. And then he, like, kicks the shit out of James a whole bunch of times and then leaves.
Yeah, he sings a Led Zeppelin song and jumps in, does a drop kick, and then runs away.
Literally Jack Black.
It was so funny. He literally looks like fucking Jack Black from Orange County. I can't stop thinking about it, man.
But yeah, that's his whole... Here's the thing. I know what I know.
Oh, but he attacks James though, because James is like, Eddie, why are you being such a piece of shit or whatever?
Right, that's what
and then he's like, oh, you're making fun of me too, James. And then he kicks him in the stomach, and then Pyramid Head starts getting close, so he runs.
Yeah.
And then that's the last you see of Eddie.
Presumably to go throw up in other toilets.
Yeah, presumably to go be in Orange County too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's literally Eddie's entire inclusion.
So he was obviously more of a character and an interest in the game.
You meet him in the Woodside Apartments, and he's in the game almost until the very end.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that was definitely...
Ultimately leading to a fight with James where James has to kill him.
Okay.
It's he's again a reflection of James. He's got his own story going on, but he's there to really kind of hold that mirror up to James. Eddie's like, I am what James could be if XYZ. Angela is, I am what James could be if XYZ.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cautionary tale, so to speak.
Okay.
And in this, he's just there because remember Eddie.
Yeah.
He's just there because Christoph Gans really likes Orange County.
Yeah. So yeah, okay, cool. That's
But then everyone's favorite fucking video game mascot, Pyramid Head, finally shows up.
and then that's when he's running away.
This is where the movie lost me completely, by the way. I was still trying to be on board, but this following scene, this entire section with Pyramid Head is like just embarrassing.
So he goes. That's when he meets the mothless or wingless
Yeah.
moth Mary.
Yeah. So he finds the thing I described earlier with Mary kind of laying on the ground and then her head comes off and she turns into like it looks like a spider crab or something, but then she picks the head up and puts the head back on and then screams into the camera and her eyes start gooping black ooze and it looks like something from a fucking video game. It's so bad. If you've played Silent Hill F or any other game like that recently, it literally looks like the opening cutscene of like a boss fight. She like puts her head back on, she gets real close to the camera, screams, and it shakes, and there's black shit coming out of her mouth
Which
and eyes.
absolutely had to have been intentional.
Yeah, it's so funny.
This one's for
Like
the gamers.
that's what Christoph Gans thinks is scary, but his filmmaking's always been over the top. I mean, even back in Brotherhood of the Wolf, Necronomicon, like this is something he does, and like that's fine. It just doesn't work for Silent Hill. He was never a good choice for this franchise in general. He doesn't understand it, but he knows how to work on a really small budget, I guess. So that's why Konami was cool with it. Kind of like Bloober Team doing Silent Hill 2, and those nobodies doing the Sharp Massage, and Neobards doing Silent Hill F. Konami has probably spent less total money on this entire Silent Hill revival than they did on like the first like 2 games. Like relative to, inflation and budget and all that stuff.
Sure.
But anyway, so Spider Moth Crab Mary gets up, chases James, and she chases him into the room with the closet, the very infamous closet. And he jumps into the closet. He's hiding in there.
But he doesn't shut the fucking light off, and that's a huge point of contention for me.
Yeah.
Like, if you're hiding, you shut the fucking light off.
Yep.
He had a flash. It literally was a flashlight on him.
He tries to cover it up.
But he could shut it off.
But you just shut it off. Yeah.
Cover it up. Shut it off.
Yeah.
Why would you not do that?
Yeah.
Why would you not be hidden?
There's no reason for that. Yeah. That's weird.
Also, the camera angles and all of that is just very, like, terrible and shaky. It was
the
very,
cinematography in this movie is wildly inconsistent. And it's, I mean, again, it was bad in the first movie too. Like, Christoph Gans, I don't know if it's him. I don't know who he's got behind the camera, who his, like, director of photography is. I don't know who his team is, but, like, the cinematography in this movie is fucking insane.
Yeah. But anyway, go on.
So, yeah,
to
so
your
she,
favorite part of the movie.
she chases him into the closet. He hides in there. And, she can't find him, and then Pyramid Head shows up, and this was a moment I actually didn't think we were gonna get, and it's a moment that this movie actually doesn't need, and it actually causes more confusion than anything. So most people will know the closet scene in the original game, or even the remake of Silent Hill 2, where the first real kind of interaction with Pyramid Head is, right? And James is in the closet. Pyramid Head is getting rough with the mannequins in the kitchen, like, and it's not clear what he's doing, right? Because it's very the animation style, the motion of the characters, like it's very uncomfortable. It's very unsettling, and while there's a part of your brain that's going like, what, like he's doing this to them. Like it's not clear. It's not obvious. It's not as overt. In the movie, the spider monster of Mary is caked up. Like she's got cheeks, brother. She's essentially a naked woman, but with like spider legs, right? And like, I feel like they really emphasized the cheeks. And
they were really
they were front and center, and Pyramid Head grabs her, slams her on the table, and while there may not necessarily be any explicit, like, I don't know, for lack of a better word, penetration, it is so obviously meant to represent like a sexual assault. Like it's Pyramid Head on the edge of the table. He's got his fists on top of her. He's like punching her He's like punching her back and like beating her like with his fists. And at one point it cuts to, I can't remember if it's like a mirror or something, a reflection of it, and it literally just looks like a dude raping a woman on a table. And in the game, it's so much more cerebral than that. Like you wouldn't say that is exactly what's happening. There's a part of your brain that's going, this is really uncomfortable, but I'm not sure why. Yeah. Right. Okay. And that's the artistry that's the difference in the execution of these things. Right. But in this, it's like, oh yeah, he's literally just assaulting her sexually. But Pyramid Head is meant to be a stand-in, a manifestation, a representation of James's inner desires. And this creature is clearly meant to represent Mary. But there's no, outside of one brief moment that I don't think is strong enough later in the story, I do not believe that this movie earns the violent sexual subtext that the original game has whatsoever. The original game, there is an implication that, you know, James, in the process of dealing with a sick wife that he couldn't be close to, that he couldn't be intimate with, clearly had some deep repressed sexuality. Okay. And it comes out in aggressive and violent aspects, but it's so well handled and it's so subtle that you never feel like, oh, they're just talking about this.
Right. Well, you said that last night. You said something about like James in the original game has a lot of like subtext of sexual desires. He's a very, you know, and I was like, well, they did not do that in the movie.
There's no subtlety at all.
He's just like James, the artist guy with canvases and in love with this woman.
There's
every interaction between them is very like sweet, and there's zero,
even when they fight, because they do fight at a certain point.
Yeah,
the fight is totally justified. James is like, we have to leave Silent Hill because you are in a fucking cult, Mary, you dumb bitch.
Yeah.
And he doesn't hurt her. He like kind of grabs her by the shoulders, I think, right? He gets like in her face.
Yeah,
it's completely justifiable. And like and the big change, I think one of the biggest changes from the game to the movie, and this is huge for James's character, and I kind of have to jump ahead a little bit, and then we'll fill it in as we go. In the games, James kills Mary. In the movie, that is the same. James kills Mary. The fundamental difference is, in the games, when James kills his wife, the implication is he made that choice and he took it upon himself, right? And it's never fully expressed as to why. Because there is not a canon ending. It's all about how you feel as the player, how you've played the game, and deciding what conclusion you feel is appropriate for that character, right? Even when it is mentioned that Mary says she wanted to die, which is in the Leave ending, which is what I kind of consider to be the best ending. It's my favorite ending. Even when it's implied, or it's said that Mary wanted to die, it's James that says it. He says, "You wanted to die." And then immediately after that, he's like, no, that's not true. You also said you wanted to live. So even when you get that information, it's from James. Oh. And he's an unreliable narrator, and he's clearly what he's gone through. It's so ambiguous, you get to draw your own conclusions. It's masterful, right? In this movie, Mary straight up looks at James and says, you know what to do. My pillow got a switch on it, bitch. Oh.
My washcloth.
Washcloth. Yeah, he doesn't use a pillow in the movie. He uses a washcloth and his hands.
It's like monogram though from the Lakeview Hotel and everything.
So
it's really nice. So I can't wait to see that up on the
website. That'll be on the Konami storefront soon, right next to the fucking pillow.
Right next to the pillow you can buy. Like, what the fuck is that? Having a pillow. They actually sell a pillow. I can't get past that. They sell the pillow.
I forgot about the pillow until you mentioned it. This is real.
His wife.
Yeah.
But now they're gonna have the Lakeview Hotel monogrammed washcloth with like probably some blood spatter on it, right? Because
a little bit of blood. Yeah.
She was coughing and bleeding all over the place, and he uses it initially to like tenderly wipe. Well,
Yeah,
he
he's like,
doesn't. He does a
yeah, he's
terrible
like trying
job.
to, trying to help wipe the
He's really
blood.
just smearing all the blood
Yeah, he
all
smeared
over
it.
her.
Yeah,
But
they didn't do a good job there.
then he's like, well, this'll do, and then just fucking just suffocates her. So
Yeah,
that will definitely be some merch in the very near future.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
But
Also, probably $35 to $55.
it'll be expensive. But the big point there I want to highlight is she directly tells James, he's like, she asks him, she's like, I want you to do one more thing for me. I want you to do something for me, or whatever. And he's like, what? And she's like, you know what to do, right? And I know people will argue, well, that's kind of ambiguous. It's very clear what she means, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's very obvious. So in the game, it's never made clear. It's entirely up to the player's discretion to put the puzzle together. In the movie, Mary wants to die. So going back to this sort of like where Pyramid Head is like an aggressor, a sexual aggressor, and all these other things, like James did not cross that line with no provocation or no, like, in the movie it's so clearly like, I love you and I don't want you to suffer and you are telling me what you want, I'm going to do it. In the game it's ambiguous enough that people can draw their own conclusions. I had a great conversation in the comments on one of the videos recently with a guy who was talking about their interpretation, and he's the one that said, and I honestly for some reason never thought of it, he's the one that said, James says, I just didn't want to see you suffer. And if I could find the comment, I'll put it up here because this commenter was really insightful. And they said, yeah, but even that is talking about how James feels. It's not about how Mary feels. Yeah. And I was like, it's absolutely, it's so rich how much you can draw from those conversations, right? Like one line. Yeah. So much to extrapolate. And in this movie, it's so fucking overt, but they don't earn any of that violence or any of that sexual sort of subtext
in the portrayed in the movie. Like James is not.
Well, there's one scene, and it's so quick, it's so easy to miss. And we'll get to it in detail, but at a certain point, there's a scene where all of a sudden the movie just cuts hard to James being in the hospital. And it's meant to be him receiving psychiatric care in the wake of Mary's death and dealing with the trauma and stuff. And he gets out of the bed and he goes up to the mirror or the window and he's looking out and he sees like a couple walking.
Yeah.
And he makes like a really like weird face at the girl and it like kind of zooms in on her chest a little bit. Oh. It's so fast.
I didn't notice
that. Blink honestly. And you'll miss it. And he kind of like, it looks like he's like, I don't know, like moving his tongue in his mouth or he like licking his teeth. And it happens so fast. And then, but if that is the only indication, after showing the loving relationship between James and Mary, like when it was good, because you don't even get that in the game. The only time you see James and Mary together in the game is in the flashback where he kills her, and then in any of the endings.
Oh, okay.
Technically the final boss fight, but that's not really Mary that you're talking to there. She's there to punish you, but and then in the endings you don't get any flashback stuff. That's it.
So you don't get like that.
No, you don't see them cuddling in the grass. You don't see him doing any of that stuff. Like you are meant to pick up all the little pieces as you go.
Well, see, that would make more sense if he was. That would make more sense if you're not seeing that part of it. That there's like a aggressive part of him or anything like that. Like that the fact that they had all this loving cuddling. That's really to have that be a split second in the movie where he looks at a girl's chest is like,
it's weird. And that moment is what is right before the nightmare kind of triggers again and he comes back to, and it makes it seem like the psychiatric scene was also in his head with everything else. So it's like,
no, that was the most like that piece right there.
It's very random.
Was like, and now you're in Silent Hill, but it didn't burn down, but everything's fine, and blah blah blah, and oh my god, James, Mary's dad, she's been dead for months.
Yeah,
and like,
and his therapist is there.
Yeah.
You see her therapist, like she calls him a couple times. He tries to call her, and then at one point, and I think this is in the talking to scene in the apartment.
Yeah.
Where all the cult's there, and they're like, Mary, you got to stop talking to this boy.
Right.
One of the characters, you only see her from the nose down talking, and it sounds like the therapist.
Yeah.
So I was thinking,
me too.
Oh, I thought they were implying there that the therapist was related to the cult.
Yeah.
they never confirm or deny that. They never really draw attention to it beyond that. And it felt kind of like, and I'm not using this reference in a positive way, it's just a good example. It kind of reminded me of something like Jacob's Ladder. Like it's a psychological horror moment where the filmmakers are deliberately throwing in like a little curveball to it's kind of like the scene in Jacob's Ladder near the end where he's about to be kind of like tortured by the doctors, and one of the doctors is the girlfriend from Jezebel, his girlfriend, and she's just one of the doctors for literally no reason, and it's just there to add to the ambiguity and add to the questioning and make things um, a little more rich in terms of deciphering what's really going on. It kind of felt like a moment like that, but like I don't understand what the purpose of it was beyond that, because in something like Jacob's Ladder, Jezebel, her presence there makes sense because she's sort of like fulfilled her purpose as a I don't really like as sort of a demon on your shoulder type character. Whereas something like this, the therapist is trying to help James, and there's no implication that she is trying to help James or keep him in line in some way or some form to protect the cult because the town is burned down for real. Um, so I don't understand if that is what they're trying to do with that shot. Again, it almost feels like stuff is missing from the movie, but who the fuck knows, right?
So I do think it's the same person.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I thought too.
Yeah. So it's either a misdirect or it's again like a psychological horror moment where they're just trying to add some ambiguity. But this is a movie that doesn't make sense either way. So I don't know if adding more ambiguity is a good thing. There's no interpretation to draw from this that you couldn't draw from the games more effectively. So yeah, just not entirely sure what the point of that was, but I just wanted to comment on that real quick so I didn't forget. Okay, we're back from a quick break. Where do we leave off story wise?
Oh, Pyramid Head assaulting
Yes.
wingless moth spider.
Yes.
Mary.
Yes.
Crab Lady.
Yes, Crab Lady and Pyramid Head.
And James in the fucking closet with his
James...
fucking flashlight on, shaking around like, look at me, look. It was like a beacon.
Yeah.
I'm in here.
And then unlike the original game where James has a fucking gun at this point, he shoots Pyramid Head through the closet, and this is where the ambiguity of the original game comes in and creates this weird dynamic between James and Pyramid Head that makes you question things. Pyramid Head is assaulting the mannequins, and you've seen the mannequins, right? They're just basically two pairs of legs put together at the waist. And James pulls out a gun, pulls out a fucking Glock, and just starts shooting Pyramid Head through the closet. Mm-hmm. Pyramid Head walks up to the closet and it's the POV from James, looks directly in through the slats.
Okay.
And just stares for a second and then walks away. So you're just like, what the fuck is happening?
Okay.
Right? Whereas, and James is you're wondering the same thing James is. What the fuck's going on, right? Whereas in the movie, Pyramid Head just comes into the fucking closet with James.
Yeah, he opens up the closet
He's like, oh, this door has a knob. Fucking
and
open.
Then he stands there, like looms over him. And
gets closer. Yeah, James is like cowering on the floor.
Yeah.
Pyramid Head gets closer and closer, and then he snaps back to reality. When he comes out of the closet, it's the scene with Angela and the knife. So in the original game, you wander around the apartments and then you come into a room and you find her there.
Right.
Laying on the floor with the knife.
And that's where, in the movie...
But in the movie, it hard cuts from nightmare to regular. There's no transition.
Yeah.
And then he walks out of the closet and it's that room with Angela in front of the big mirror with the knife.
Yeah. And then she's like, no one's ever gonna touch me again.
Yeah, she literally says, it could have ended with don't touch me. But she says, don't, like, because they have a similar exchange kind of to what they do in the game. It's not word for word, but they're trying to create the same dynamic between the two characters where James is just trying to ask questions and figure out what's going on. But, like, and I was wondering why they left certain things out of the conversation, and you find out later why. The dynamic between James and Angela is very different in the movie than the game, and it's intentionally so, because... Well, like I said, we'll get to it later. That's a reveal I don't want to spoil yet. So Angela is like, don't touch me. No one will ever touch me again, is what she says with the knife. And there's so much to unpack from that one line alone, but it'll spoil some of the cult stuff, so I want to save that for later. So, because in the games, this interaction between James and Angela is sort of like contemplating, and she's sitting there with the knife, and it's very ominous, and it's like, Angela, what are you thinking about doing? She's really withdrawn.
Sure.
And she's clearly struggling, right? And James is like, there's always a better way. And he's like, Angela, give me the knife. And he's like trying to take it from her. And when he reaches like slightly forward because he's like, give me the knife, that's when she kind of retracts. Because she's not all there, and she sees James as an aggressor in that moment, right?
Sure.
And then ultimately she does, when she finally comes to, she does leave the knife. She leaves and James takes it.
But there's subtlety there. In the movie,
it's fantastic. That scene with James and Angela in the game is fucking beautiful. But again, to be fair to the movie, which is a phrase I hope I never have to fucking use again, there is a reason that James and Angela are the way they are in this movie. I don't think it's the payoff changes much. It still sucks, but we'll get to that. So she's like, no one will ever touch me again. And then James leaves.
And then he runs into Laura.
Yeah, so then he leaves the Woodside Apartments, cut to the scene where James and Laura, they basically recreate the shot one for one of him walking with, you see like the kids' paintings on the wall, and she's above on the ledge, and it's like one for one from the game, which is, again, it's always neat to see stuff like that where they try to recreate those moments, but again, the context is very different.
But then she talks about how she got the doll, the creepy ass baby doll she's carrying, from Mary.
Yeah, so she has this weird, creepy looking fucking baby doll with her. It literally looks like a rotten baby corpse. And she mentions that it was a gift from Mary. And in this scene in the original game, it's the first time Laura mentions Mary. So James is like, hey, how do you know Mary's name? And that's, everyone knows that moment from the game. But she says the baby doll was a gift from Mary, which ends up actually not amounting to anything later in the game or in the movie, and also makes no sense when you know who Laura really is. Right. So anyway, so we'll get to that. So then she runs off and James chases her.
It's just like half of the movie is him spent chasing Laura through like random parts of the town.
Yeah, it starts out, when James first finds Laura, he's trying to help her because this is clearly a dangerous place.
Sure.
And then, then he finds out that she knows who Mary is, and he's like, oh, well, how do you know Mary? And there's the mystery there.
And she's just like trolling him the whole.
Yeah, in the movie, there's a reason they contextualize it in the movie in a way that I'm actually fine with, because in the game, James is just looking for answers and Laura's just kind of running off and doing her thing. But the difference is, in the game, Laura is a real person, right? Laura doesn't see anything that's going on in Silent Hill. To her, Silent Hill is just a normal town.
Okay.
She doesn't see the monsters, right?
Okay.
She's completely innocent. She is also trying to find Mary, though, because she was in the hospital sick as well. Okay. And she met Mary. They were both at the hospital at the same time.
Gotcha.
And Mary sort of looked at her like almost like a daughter in a way.
Okay.
So they had their own little endearing relationship. It all happens off screen, but I think there's a really good, like, Laura conveys it well enough, and you can fill in the blanks yourself in the game. In the movie, Laura's purpose is to help guide James to the answers. So she's running off for a reason.
Sure,
because
I get it. I was like, dude, I would be like, you know what? Go ahead, run. I'm not going to chase your ass.
Yeah. So then, do they just go to the hospital after that? No. That's when they go through the park. They finally get to the park. And this is where we meet Maria.
Yeah. Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman.
So.
And then he looks at her. This is the stupidest thing. He looks at her. You as the audience can clearly tell.
Yeah.
That it's the same woman playing.
Yeah.
This girl. They don't even actually tell you her name. It's just like, hello, person. I am here and I am very clean compared to everybody else in this town.
So in the original game, they meet in the same place. But the very first thing that James comments on is the fact that Maria looks like Mary.
Right.
And he literally says, you could be her twin.
Yeah.
Right. But there's that sort of dreamlike nature of the conversations and the atmosphere. So it's like, you kind of buy into this, thing. And to be completely honest, in the game, Mary and Maria, even though they are intentionally the same character model,
Yeah.
but they have a different facial structure slightly.
Okay.
Like the actual geometry of their face is slightly different. If you go watch the behind the scenes of the making of Silent Hill 2, the original game, it's so insightful. It's really cool. But they intentionally designed them both to be exactly the same, except for like certain aspects of their face are slightly different. But even with that, they have the same voice actor and everything, but they look completely different. Like you could look at them both in the game and just be like, oh, those are two different people, right? Without really thinking about it. If you saw the models side by side, but in the movie, it is obviously the same actress, right?
Yeah.
It is the same person. So, but James doesn't comment on it. She doesn't introduce herself. She just shows up like, hey, you know what it reminded me of? There's an episode of Futurama. It's one of the anthology of interest episodes where they ask the what if machine.
Oh yeah.
It's the one where Leela wants to have a family, but she gets bonked on the head and she has a dream about the Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
And it's like she meets Bender as the Tin Man, Fry as the Scarecrow, and then and they kind of expedite it all. And then Zoidberg shows up and he's like, I'm the other guy. Courage. Not enough of it. Need some from what's his name. And they just kind of keep going. I thought of that in the moment where Maria shows up. She's like, hey, that's right. I'm here now. I'm in the movie now. We're going to go.
She literally just shows up.
And offers to help James.
And there's zero introduction whatsoever. And he looks at her. You can tell that he is...
Yeah, he has a reaction.
The reaction is, this looks like the woman that I am chasing, but different.
Yeah.
Now, again, I kind of put myself in like real life scenarios when I see movies and stuff and I see people's reactions. So if I saw like you, but
in a cheap fucking wig,
but like, yeah, you just had like, because it literally is just different hair. Yeah. And like different clothes, right?
I mean, she's wearing like different makeup. The whole outfit's different. She's got the little tattoo on her stomach. Like
her face
like,
is exactly the same.
Her face is exactly the same.
So if I saw you, right?
Yeah.
This is not a case of like Superman puts his glasses on and, you know, suddenly no one fucking recognizes him.
Mary puts a wig on and who the fuck knows who she is, yeah.
It would be like if you... Okay, case in point, we just cut all your hair off. Mm-hmm. And you're wearing a different outfit than yesterday. I still fucking know it's you.
Yeah.
I'm not like, hello, new person.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, I would say something. If I was in a town looking for you, and you essentially came out, but, like, you were wearing different clothes and you had a different hairstyle, I'd be like, hey, boyfriend.
What the fuck's going on, man?
Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Right? But instead, he's just like, yes, this is a completely different person, right? Yeah. So fine, that's fine. But still,
they meet there real quick. It's like very quick, the introduction.
Sure.
And then it immediately cuts to them walking through Silent Hill, and she's like kind of a step ahead of him. She's like leading him.
Sure.
To the next destination.
To the hospital. He wants to go to the hospital.
Right. He wants to go to the hospital, that's right. And she's like trying to take him there. And he like I don't think she tells him her name until...
She doesn't tell him her name until way
they
later.
get to the hospital later.
Like, literally, almost before she's not in the movie anymore. Like, they go to the hospital.
Yeah, she's like, I never told you my name.
Right. Yeah.
But she comments before that. So this is where things get super goofy. So they get to the hospital. They start wandering the hospital. It goes nightmare mode, right? And then the nurses come to life. Right? So the nurses start chasing Maria and James. So this is essentially... They kind of split... There's a scene in the game that they kind of split into two scenes for the movie. Where... So they run from the nurses... They get to the elevator at the end of the hall. The elevator's not working. So James, he has like the handle of a wheelchair. He like breaks a handle off of a wheelchair. And he's like swinging it around. Right? So he's like hitting the nurses with it. And their heads just shatter. Their heads are made of like porcelain or something.
Yeah, you're supposed to assume they're like made of very fragile
material. Yeah, so he's like hitting them in the heads and their heads are like exploding like some sort of, like I said, like porcelain or clay or something. and he's killing them all and fighting them off. And then some of them get like near the elevator, and one of them stabs Maria in the stomach.
She literally goes in the elevator past James. This is the part I was like, I have a huge issue with this.
Yeah.
If they could have all just fucking bum rushed the elevator,
yeah,
and gotten in there, it would have been game over, right?
Yeah.
But instead, one of James is like fighting them off, and one of them like sneaks around him, goes into the elevator, shanks this bitch, and then what? And then he's like, "Oh yeah." The whole thing for me was like, it was so. I have a hard time watching movies in general, I think, because I just go into like reality mode. I'm aware it's not real.
It's hard
right?
not to
but,
look at it's hard to look at certain situations in films and just not be like, what would be the pragmatic approach? What would I do? And stuff like that.
And she's just standing there, like at the back of the elevator, which again, I understand. I will keep saying it. I understand what they were trying to do. I just don't like the way.
So here's kind of my issue, right? In the game, Maria serves multiple functions, right? She's not actually there to guide James to the truth or anything. She is sort of there as a manifestation of his inner desires, and the town sort of utilizes her almost in a way to guide him away from the answers. Sure. She's almost like the anti-pyramid head.
That's what I thought her goal was.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it kind of is, because she says, if you don't find Mary, then you leave town with me, basically.
Right.
But that is like, that's not, there's like that, nothing like that ever really happens between the two of them in the game. When they get to the hospital in the game, it's James and Maria together, Maria starts coughing. Like she's getting sick. Obviously, because she's a, sort of a representation of Mary. So she gets sick. They stop off in a room. She lays down on the bed, and James is like, "I'll come back for you." And she's like, "No, stay with me." He's like, "I gotta go and come back for her." He comes back later, and she is wait, actually, is she dead then? I can't remember if she dies then. It's been a long time since I played the second game. Does she die in the hospital, or is she just gone when you come back? I can't remember, but she ends up dying a few times throughout the game, right? One of the times is she gets stabbed by Pyramid Head, kind of like she does later in this, but it's actually kind of like the scene with the nurses, because they're running to the elevator at the end of this hallway.
Oh, okay.
James gets in, Maria doesn't make it, and she like reaches into the elevator as the doors are closing, and you just hear the stab and you hear her scream. So James doesn't really see it all happen, but obviously Pyramid Head has killed her, right? Because Pyramid Head is trying to get James to the fucking truth.
Right.
And Maria's sort of like a distraction in a way. But in the hospital, she's getting sick already. There's an ending even where they do leave together, but on the way out of town, she starts coughing again, and James is like, "We got to do something about that cough," essentially implying that he's gonna have to watch her die. At the hands of the illness that killed Mary. That sort of endless cycle of kind of punishment in a way. And here, she just gets stabbed, which is fine. But she's just chilling in the room.
Well, then he puts like a fucking Band-Aid on her, which, by the way, you're in Nightmare version of Silent Hill. Like, don't put any fucking, that's not sterile. I don't care if it came out of a packet.
He had like, I think he had like something liquid. He had like alcohol or something, an alcohol pen.
Again, what, you don't even know what that is.
Right, yeah, sure. I mean,
you're in the grossest, there's like vines and weird shit growing out of the walls. Like, that's not the place to treat me.
Yeah.
And I get it, like, I'm stabbed, just let me die.
Yeah.
Because I would rather die from like the wound than getting a whatever infection. But it's off the point. But anyway, yeah, I was like, dude, don't give her that Band-Aid. Like, he like rips open a Band-Aid. And I was like, and also, where did he find a clean Band-Aid in this place? Everything in here is disgusting, but there happened to be one unopened sterile gauze or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then she's laying there, she's bleeding, she's got her Band-Aid on her, and she goes, "I could be her twin."
Yeah, so this is where she says,
I look just like her.
I know, she's like, "I know what you want to say," or something. Like,
yeah.
I look just like her.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, it's the way you look at me."
Yeah,
and it's like,
how could you know that?
Why would James not be the fucking one to comment on this first?
That's what I said.
It's so weird.
If I saw you...
Yeah.
but like different version of you, right? Instead of Oz, you're like Dawes or something. Ozzo, Ozia. I don't know.
Yeah.
Add like a letter to the end of your
Yeah.
name. And then I'd be like, "Hey bro, like what the fuck are you doing here?" You know? Like that would be a thing for me that I would question immediately.
Yeah.
And if you were like, "No, I'm not Oz, I'm Boz." I'd be like, "Well, that's weird because you look just like the love of my life," right?
Yeah.
He literally says nothing.
Yeah.
Would you, if the roles were reversed, would you say some shit to, if like an other version of me?
I'd be like, babe, why are you wearing that fucking wig?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Why are you wearing that shit wig?
So to me, it seems crazy that they have, one, met and not spoken, like introduced themselves, because that's just like rude.
Yeah, because he doesn't
Improper
even. I don't even
manners,
think
right?
he says his name is James to
Right.
her. Yeah.
And then she, then they go to the hospital together. She gets stabbed. He bandages her up. And then at that point, she has the audacity to be like, "Hey, if you're not gonna, like, if you're not gonna be, if you're not gonna find, if you don't find who you're looking for, like, I'm here."
Yeah.
I would come back from the dead.
Yeah. If you don't find Mary, promise to leave the town with me. Basically, is what she says. And
Yeah.
it's like, and and James doesn't even respond. He's completely silent. He just walks away. Like he walks out of the room. He doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
Which I don't is not an inappropriate response, but it's just like from this point on, James starts saying less and less. He gets extremely quiet.
Yeah.
Presumably because he's processing everything he's going through. But he leaves that room.
Laura is back again.
Huh?
Laura is back again at this point because that's when she leads him.
Right.
To...
Yeah. So this is essentially the part where Laura kind of leads him to the Flesh Lips fight in the game. And then locks him in the room. She does not call him Fartface, unfortunately. But I guess, this particular version of Laura wouldn't say something that awesome. But in the game, she calls him a Fartface, so it's awesome.
I like the term flesh lips. That makes me feel weird about things.
It should. That's kind of the point. Yeah. So she locks him in the room, and this is actually probably my favorite horror moment, if you can call it a horror moment. James goes in the room and he hears like the breathing or the rattling of whoever's making noise, and he's like scanning the room with the light, and then slowly he looks up and sees, and it's kind of a cool like visual. I actually kind of like this part, the visual. I don't like her design. I think she looks fucking stupid.
Hollowed out, like emaciated.
She looks like an insect person, like an insectoid.
An insect. It's the literal same.
Oh yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
It's Moth Mary.
So when he looks up, I thought it was going to be the Flesh Lips creature, but it's actually Mary. The first time you see her in her sort of moth form, I guess you could almost consider it like a cocoon form.
Because it just looks like maybe like the hospital bed sheets are.
Yeah,
like
it's her hospital bed is like on the ceiling,
down,
upside down. She's wrapped in the sheets, and then like the sheets unravel, and James is like looking at. It's a really cool visual. I actually really like this whole scene, but she looks fucking stupid. Like it's one of the dumbest designs I think I've ever seen of a anything in any movie. But then she like reaches down with her arms, and it's like that shot people have probably seen in the trailer where it's like him looking up. It almost looks like it was a shot designed for the movie poster, right?
Sure, yeah.
It's like the way it's framed. Like he's looking up, and then you just see the hands coming down from the top.
Fingers.
She has salad fingers. Oh my god, she does. Yeah. And I think it's like 4 arms she reaches down with. She's like forming. It's like still forming, I guess, into her moth version, but. Yeah. She like reaches down and I thought it was going to be like a boss fight, like the Flesh Lips fight. Because in the Flesh Lips fight, the Flesh Lips are like these weird fleshy bags inside of a cage.
Okay.
And they reach down with their feet, and they like grab James with their feet. And they like hang onto the ceiling with their
she
other.
Literally looks like salad.
Yeah, she looks kind of like salad.
Her eyeballs are really big and like she's like emaciated and weird and off-colored.
Dude, no, she actually. Oh my god, she looks like salad fingers.
No,
oh god,
look at it's literally.
Oh no. she reaches down and grabs him, and she like shoves her arm in down his throat
Yeah.
in a manner that would probably kill a human. And then that's when you get the hard cut we talked about earlier to James in the hospital. He's tied to the
like the real clean
yeah
Silent Hill hospital.
Regular normal Silent Hill
Where I would
Brookhaven
take
hospital.
a Band-Aid from.
He's tied to the chair. Maybe not. I can't remember if he's strapped down, but he's in the chair. He's in the bed.
Yeah.
And they have IVs and shit. And he's like, "Oh, what's going on?" And then his therapist is there, and she's like, "James, you have to accept that she's gone.
Yeah.
You have to accept that Mary's dead."
Throughout the whole movie, also.
Yeah.
Like they actually like they made him not a little less sweaty.
Yeah, he looks clean. Yeah,
he looks clean.
I think to imply that this is this is reality. Like this is the real stuff, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. Thanks, Christoph. I don't think we could have figured that shit out on our own. But the therapist is, there. She's like, James, you got to move on. She's dead. You gotta go. And then at a certain point there in that scene, James is like, "Thank you for your help, doctor. Everything's fine." And then there's that weird shot I mentioned earlier where he's staring out the window, and he sees a couple walking, like a young couple, and it zooms in on the girl. It's not just her chest. It's just like her midsection, above her knees and below her face. So it's just her body.
We
He's
missed
like looking at her
stuff though.
Oh, did we?
We did.
Okay,
in the hospital.
We'll get back to that in a sec then. So, so it does the zoom in on her body, and he has like a weird smirk on his face. Like that is the one little implication of like James has like deeper sexual desires, but all it really is just him looking at another girl.
It honestly is probably like the one time I looked away from the screen, so I missed that.
Well, it's just so fast, but at a certain point, I was just looking for those things because I was like, okay, Christoph is gonna shove as much of this into the film as possible.
I wouldn't have been looking for anything like any subtlety like that. Everything.
But then when he sees her and he has that smirk on his face, it immediately cuts back to nightmare version. Like moths fly up and cover the window.
Yeah.
The siren goes off and everything goes crazy. But back to what you wanted. What did we miss?
So when they're in the hospital, I think before the nurses attack and before like the stabbing, she finds a tape in the doctor's office.
Right, yeah.
And it's of Mary talking about how she didn't know that the drugs they were giving her were gonna kill her, right? So like I don't know what Mary's dying of in the game or what she's died of.
It's just like an unnamed illness.
Okay.
But she's
in
like
this one, she's been slowly poisoned by the cult that her father, and then that's when we have the flashback of James remembering how
this is important.
Follows them.
Yeah.
He sees them all surround Mary like across the street one day when he's just walking.
Well, I think it's framed like he's been following her the whole time.
Oh, okay.
It's framed like he's been following her, and then he finally sees where she's going.
He saw like her friends creepy show up, because there's also that weird mannequin head with the hinges on it in her closet of her dad, I guess.
Yeah.
With has like candles and stuff all around.
Yeah, it's like a little shrine.
So when her friends came over to try to convince her to break up with him, basically all those candles were still lit, and she was like, oopsies, blew them out. Like,
ignore my dead
you
dad
didn't
shrine.
See this shrine right here, and it's fine. And then, then I think ever since then, that set off some bells for him.
Yeah.
Of like, I should really be seeing what she's up to.
So
he follows her. And then he sees her disappear down like a little alleyway. They kind of like all surround her and get her down an alleyway. And then just to be really nitpicky, the timing on this is all wrong, because within a matter of moments, James has found the secret entrance that they are that they have ushered her through. And then he finds, it was like quick. He sees, there's a gate. I can't go that way.
They take her in through the front entrance of this big building, I think, right?
Yeah.
Do they? Or is it do they go through the alleyway
too? They went through the alleyway.
Yeah, because he follows them, right?
He follows them into the alleyway.
But he's like right behind them, and then he gets in, he discovers the entrance pretty fucking quickly.
Which, like, how did they get her down into, like, how did they get the dumpster back over that thing.
Yeah, because he can't get to them. It's like caged, it's like gated off.
Well, he goes
when he
down
goes
the
down to the
alleyway,
tunnel.
and he finally gets to like a point where there's like a gate or like a fence.
Yeah.
And it's just like, a chain link fence. So he can't go through that way, but he's actually crossed past a chain link fence, remember, because he peels the paper back.
Yeah.
So he goes through that fence, and then he's kind of stuck in between the fences.
Yeah.
And then he sees steam rising up from what's very clearly like a storm cellar looking thing, but it has a dumpster out rolled on top of it.
Yeah, they managed to get the dumpster in the so
how
yeah.
did they get her down there, first of all, in a matter of moments, because he was literally across the street from her, right?
Yeah.
So he was just right behind her, basically. So they managed to scurry down there, get her there. Someone must have pushed the dumpster back over. Not sure how that worked. To conceal the door partially.
Yeah.
And then get her down into the tunnels, into this big sewer room where they painted her gold and she had like a costume
Yeah,
change.
she's wearing like a really sheer kind of nightgown.
Yeah.
And she has like a mask that's almost made from like gold flakes or something.
Yeah. And then at this point, then now he's seeing this.
Yeah. So they have her drink this red liquid, which could be it could probably be a reference to a Glaucophagus, I imagine it is. Is it not? Oh, I mean, and specifically just a reference because it doesn't have any other function in the movie. But she drinks this red liquid. They like feed it. They like give it to her, and then they like lift her up and carry her. Like they pass her back down into the crowd like a fucking rock concert.
Surfing.
Yeah, she's crowd surfing. Mary's crowd surfing because she's fucking sick, bro. Mary's fucking sick. Yeah, open up the pit, Silent Hill.
Yeah.
But they bring her back down, and then while they're carrying her through her nightgown, you see her like you see blood coming out of her, like
and
through the nightgown.
And everybody's like touching her blood, and
then they lay her down, and they're like. It looks like they're like eating her, but what you actually see happening is just them like touching her and then licking their hands.
Yeah, the blood.
So I'm assuming whatever she drank, like, and I'm sure that none of this really matters, but like I'm just trying to understand the logistics of this, right, from the cult perspective. This liquid you drink passes through your bloodstream or your body, and your body specifically is like a conduit to turn it into something else.
You sweat blood.
Yeah, you sweat your blood out, and the blood plus the substance is something else. And then these people are like consuming what comes out of you, and then that like gives you powers, or makes you immortal, or makes you live forever, or makes you maybe it is a Glaucophagus, and it makes them immune to like their I don't know.
What is a Glaucophagus?
A Glaucophagus is the substance in the original Silent Hill game that is used to expel the god.
Oh.
It's in Silent Hill F, it is the substance used to purify the sacred sword to be able to kill the gods, the deities. Okay. So it is, in that it's called Hote no Sama, but in the original game it's called a Glaucophagus.
Okay.
And it's also what Heather consumes in Silent Hill 3 to abort the god fetus inside of her.
Oh. Okay.
And it's a gift left over father gives to her. Right? So it serves a purpose in the original games, and in Silent Hill 2, it's not relevant. I don't know if you guys can hear that. We have cats fighting. No, kick his ass, bro.
Presumably, so, yes, but it was
she consumes the liquid. They eat what's coming out of her, the liquid, but then when Mary comes back home.
No, hold on, because I have something to say here. The part that got me is they were all so fucking loud, like slurping on this girl's blood, that they didn't hear James at the grate screaming.
He's like screaming,
and like he's like freaking out because rightfully so. What the fuck are they doing to this woman he loves, right? Yeah. But like not a single person heard him because they're so consumed with their bloodlust or whatever. And then and she talks about it in the tape that you hear in the hospital, where she's like that drug that they were giving her made her feel like she was like complete, or like she was something, like it did something where it made her basically feel like she was part of something or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's something I want to say about her whole being the food basically for this cult.
Yeah.
But I don't we're not there
We can save it, but I think the larger issue for me is at the end of that flashback, or is it a separate flashback where she comes home and James is
No,
waiting
it's
for
all
her?
the same.
The same
Because
flashback.
he's staring at when they're going. Yeah, he's remembering it at one point, and he's with Maria at some point, and he's remembering the breakup.
So in that flashback, Mary then comes home after this event.
Clean as fuck.
Clean as fuck. She looks fine. She looks normal. James is sitting in a chair drinking, like with tears in his eyes. He looks so angry.
And she's wearing the dress that the mannequin was wearing when he goes in.
Yeah, she's wearing. Yeah, it's not the exact same outfit from the game, but it's like a black. It's almost like a sundress or like a romper or something.
It's like that was obviously the dress that he last saw her in, which is why she's wearing the mannequin is wearing.
Yeah, so that's the one that the mannequin's wearing. It's not the exact same outfit from the game, but she comes home, he like kicks the suitcase over to her, and he's like, we're leaving Silent Hill. Like he's like, you and I. He still wants to be with her. So he's like, you and I are leaving. So pack your suitcase. And she's like, I don't want to go. I want to stay. This is my family. Like, what?
Like she was just like, oh, I can't. And then she tells him, which also didn't make sense to me, but then she tells him, the day that I met you, I was leaving.
Yeah, that's what she reveals. Yeah, that's what she reveals.
Go.
But then, like, I guess the idea that they came back to Silent Hill temporarily, she was pulled back in and she felt like she couldn't escape again, even though she had a boyfriend with a Mustang GT and they could just drive away.
Yeah, like they could just light up a fucking blunt and
light up a doobie, fill the back seat with paint and just fucking drive off into the sunset.
Put all your canvases in.
Yeah, all of it. More aerodynamic, bro.
Yeah.
But she doesn't want to leave. He wants to go. So that's like the breakup scene. He leaves Silent Hill. On the way out, and I actually kind of like this shot. On the way out, he's getting in the car and he looks up and you see like the silhouette of all the heads of everyone looking out of the building down at him. Because they're all like, none of them want him there, and they're all, well, fucking cult members. That's just a neat little shot though. But it's almost like a Rosemary's Baby type thing. Like there's a little bit of that in there. But so he leaves Silent Hill, and then as it's doled out as the film progresses from that point on, that he only then returns later after he finds out that she's sick. But do they say how he finds out she's sick? Does she reach out to him?
No.
I don't think it actually says how he finds out that she's like dying, but we don't get there yet anyway. So yeah, so we get that flashback from the tape in the hospital, and then everything else we said about the hospital happens. So
then he's in real hospital.
Yeah, he's in real hospital.
Bugs take over the windows.
Bugs take over the window.
And
Nightmare comes back.
And that's when he is with Maria again. He goes back.
Yeah, he walks back into the room she's resting in. Yeah, and she's like sitting up or whatever.
And this is the part where she is like, okay, like, you didn't find her. Let's go.
Yeah.
Right? And he's like, well, and then she's like, I didn't even tell you my name.
Yeah.
And this, after all of this, is when she finally says, oh, I'm Maria. And then they kiss.
Yeah, which they never do in the game, and there's an explicit reason why.
Yeah, and then they walk off, and they're in, like, a art gallery?
The Labyrinth. So so this is Christoph Gans's interpretation of the Labyrinth, and I will say this. I think this is a cool way, like visually it's really neat. It's a really cool way to marry, no pun intended, the Labyrinth from the game and what it represents and the narrative of the film. I actually really like this whole sequence kind of, but the summoning of Pyramid Head is fucking bizarre, because it fundamentally alters the relationship between James and Pyramid Head as we've ever known it, in a way that I just don't think works. So they exit that, and then they're in the labyrinth, and it's essentially a maze, and the walls are lined with all the paintings of Mary that James has made. And they get like increasingly more like graphic, and it's like ultimately it starts with her happy and healthy and leads with her like the paintings of her looking like she's dying or dying in the
Because he's an
hospital, or
artist.
yeah, because he's an artist.
Don't forget, he's
And she's following him, and Maria's kind of limping because she still got stabbed, and she's like, "Oh, I've been stabbed," and he's walking, and he's just like ignoring her, and he just keeps going and keeps going, and eventually it gets to a point where he's like tired of listening to her talk.
Well,
or
then she
something.
yells about how he promised that he would leave with her
Yeah,
if she didn't.
even though he didn't do that.
But yeah. And then she's basically like, "You promised," and then that's.
And then he puts his hands on his head and starts freaking out, and essentially like summons Pyramid Head himself. Like whether he does it intentionally or not, but it feels like he is aware of what's going on now, and he basically summons Pyramid Head so that Pyramid Head can kill her.
Because he tells her, like, "You're not real."
Yeah.
You're blah 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 blah, and then this is the part that you were talking about where it zooms in.
Yeah, and then when he summons Pyramid Head kills the shit out of Maria, and then we get the zoom where it zooms in. Pyramid Head's helmet is cracked, and it's James on the inside, and I fucking died.
Yeah. So this is, I will say this, that is when my 10-year-old lost it. He was so excited. Don't judge me for bringing a 10-year-old to this movie.
Yeah.
But he lost it, and he was like flipping out because it was so cool that James is Pyramid Head.
Yeah.
And I looked at Oz in the theater and I said, this movie is literally made for 10-year-olds. Like, it's fucking made for 10-year-olds. Because anybody outside of that age group, 9 to 12, which probably honestly shouldn't fucking be watching this movie.
Yeah.
But my son is he's very well versed in all things that I've never shielded him from, like, creepy things. So, he wasn't really affected by it. He thinks Pyramid Head is fantastic. He's a Pyramid Head fanboy, right? So, like, he was so fucking psyched at this reveal that Pyramid Head is actually, James is actually inside Pyramid Head. And I was like, this is the stupidest shit I've ever seen in my life. And here's my 10-year-old who's fucking wigging out over how cool it is. And that was the moment. I said, this movie was made for children. This movie was made for people who mentally are 10 years old. You will never convince me otherwise.
When I saw that, I died. And then when you said the movie was made for 10-year-olds, I almost fucking shit myself. It's so bad. So then, so we get the James is Pyramid Head reveal, and then Maria's dead.
Yeah.
And then where are we after that? I can't remember what the next thing is.
Then another snap. This is why it's so disjointed, right?
Yeah.
Because then this happens, and it's like, dun, 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 James is Pyramid Head, and like, then it's like, oh, wait, now he's somewhere else.
Yeah, it cuts to James inside the helmet, and he's like, wow, these hills sure are silent.
And then he's outside of the hotel.
Oh, yeah, he wakes up in the water.
Yeah.
He wakes up in the water, like, on the little lake shore by the hotel.
Yeah. And then this is where the big reveal is, right? Where Laura...
Well, hold on, we're going to build up to it.
Okay.
Because we're going to take people on a journey. This is great. So... he wakes up in the water, and this is the scene that all the trailers started with. Like, it almost made it look like this was the beginning of the movie. Like, he just wakes up in Silent Hill, but obviously that's not what happens. So he wakes up in the water and gets up, and the hotel's on fire. He sees, like, the town burning or whatever, which we already knew was a thing. So it's just a visual, I guess. But he makes his way into the lobby of the hotel and runs into Laura again, but like Laura's being like extra creepy. Like, she peeks up over this like little couch and her eyes are all fucked up. She looks like Pennywise or something. I was like, why are we doing why? And then she climbs over the couch and she's talking about like she says something along the lines of like, are you ready to learn the truth, or are you ready for the answers, James? And it's like, it's so fucking eye rolling. She climbs over the couch. She's got the baby, and the little baby doll is like actually alive, and it's like crying and being weird and creepy. And then we get more flashback stuff where James is taking a flower to a grave, And I,
It's like, and it's choppy. Like the cinematography is like choppy,
it's real choppy,
almost
yeah.
like when a movie, in movies where they're like the reel is melting.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah,
Like
it's
it's
a
like
little,
very
yeah.
choppy and shaky, and you get closer and fucking closer and closer to the grave, like to the headstone, and Laura's like, "What was Mary's full name?
Yeah.
What was
This
her full
So
name?"
this is why I compared this. One of the other reasons I compared this to Batman v Superman, because of the Martha moment. Because I literally I thought of that movie when this happened. So she's like, James, what was Mary's full name? And it zooms in on the fucking headstone, and I'm not exaggerating. I'm not joking. Her name was Mary Angela Laura Crane.
Penelope
Eddie
Gonzalez,
Pyramid Head.
Eddie Pyramid Head,
Like
Smith.
so her middle name is Angela Laura, which means Angela and Laura are not real, right?
Mhm.
Those are other facets of Mary, like
Mhm.
as a throughout, whether it's her history, her life, something she'd gone through, whatever. And I laughed, I cried, I fucking farted. I was so I was already done with the movie, but I was like, maybe something even cool will happen. And I go, yeah, that was cool. And it didn't really. And then this happened, and I was like, how the fuck did this get greenlit? Like, how did this get
This
made?
again, dudes in a room. You know, everyone fucking jerked each other off
Yeah,
so
yeah,
hard
it
when
was.
they came up with this idea of, oh my god, Angela and Laura are just part of Mary, and James is like psychotically broken, and he's just, these are fragments of his love.
So this is where shit really, again, just the overt nature of the storytelling and the visuals. So you get when you see the headstone, and then James is like, "Oh, this is her full name." Then we get to the Angela and Abstract Daddy stuff. So cuts to James in a room, right, and Angela slash Mary is sitting on like a dirty fucking shit stained
Which you can
mattress.
now very clearly see because they have kind of like um obscured Angela's face
Yeah,
throughout the movie,
which I'll
which
give
is
them credit for
fine. Yeah,
that because
and
I
her
didn't even
voice
catch
was
it
her
at first.
voice was the voice that this actress did for
Yeah, it was.
Angela. I was like, did Angela sound like that in the game?
It sounds
Because
like when a kid is like trying to sound evil.
yeah. Like she was like, grab a bag, they're heavy. I was
Yeah,
like, what is she, the fucking evil witch
but
in the woods? Like,
she's sitting on the bed, and I think she's wearing the dress that Mary wore, the black one with the flowers,
I don't
right?
honestly remember.
she's wearing she's wearing the sundress, and she's like kind of sitting with her knees, she's sitting on her knees, and her legs are spread a little,
Yeah.
and she's sitting on the mattress. You see like her teddy bear and other shit on the ground there, and she's like, I think she says like, "Do you see it now?" or
Yeah,
something.
and then she
And she starts
lifts
pulling
her
her fucking
skirt.
skirt up almost to the stuff, and then the
You
you
see the sheets, hands come like
yeah,
out
the
of the
hands come out of the
sheets.
sheet and like grab her legs.
Yeah, like grab her thighs.
And so the implication there is that not only is Angela not real, but Abstract Daddy in the movie is actually just uh
Mary's dad.
Mary's dad, and he was, assaulting her as a kid, as a child, or who knows, even maybe as a young adult or an adult, before he died.
Which is wild because then that whole thing, like that's, it would, I ain't even saying this. It would make sense if, because a cycle of abuse does sort of end. It's harder to end, right?
Yeah,
When someone is abused as a child
yeah,
like that, especially, um, it is really difficult for them to not accept other flat out abusive behavior,
yeah,
being in a cult and letting them drink your blood,
yeah,
basically, right? You accept that kind of thing because you've lost all bodily autonomy
yeah,
from a young age, so you
yeah.
accept those kinds of things, which would make sense why she would have stayed there. But it's still, not even having any real knowledge outside of what you've told me about Angela and her tragic story, I feel like it's so um it is like diminishing to Angela, like disrespectful to that story they wanted to tell. It was almost like put in as an afterthought of in the
Well, it's
movie.
completely pointless in the
Right,
movie.
in the
You don't
movie,
need.
they throw it in like you said, if they had just not put Angela in the movie at all,
Yeah.
it would have been fine. But them throwing in like this girl was obviously put through hell being given drugs that were killing her,
Yeah.
having everyone, like touching her, licking blood off of her, etc. But then they also had to be like, oh, and also she was sexually molested too. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why? You know what I
And
mean?
they continued, like, it's not just that scene. If it was just that scene, it would still suck, but like it would be marginally less or more tolerable. But then
Yeah.
after you see the hands come out of the mattress and like kind of hold onto her thighs with her skirt hiked up, James falls through the floor and lands in
No,
the.
he's trying to get her because the
Oh yeah,
the
yeah,
abstract
it
daddy
pulls
is
her through the
pulling
mattress.
her
Yeah.
through the bed.
So Abstract Daddy's like pulling her through the mattress, like almost like Freddy Krueger or something. And then James is like trying to get her, and then he gets pulled through the mattress as well. And he falls and he lands in the Abstract Daddy boss room, like with the holes in the wall, the cylinders. It's like one for one the room from the original game, which I mean, it's cool that they completely recreated that room. That's neat. But again, this subplot is completely fucking irrelevant to the overall story of this film. So it's literally just there for either shock value or because, hey, remember the abstract daddy? Remember the sexual trauma? But then he's laying there, he gets up, and you hear moaning. I mean, like that literally sounds like sexual moaning of a man who is about to climax. It's fucking gross. And then it cuts to the abstract daddy, and it looks like if Meat Canyon made a fucking Silent Hill parody. Like this version of Abstract Daddy is simultaneously grosser than anything I've ever seen in the Silent Hill series and funnier than it should have been because it is a practical effect. They built the Abstract Daddy, but it has faces on it. So you have the abstract daddy face in the bed, which is where the little like butthole sphincter mouth thing would have been in the game. And it's not like that weird, gross, dirty brown color. It's like flesh colored. Then you have Mary's head hanging off the end of the bed frame, like upside down, looking at James, just like the spider monster from earlier, the Mary moth monster. Her head was upside down like that too. And you just hear the moaning, the guy's voice like moaning, like building and building, like he's about to fucking climax. It's really fucking gross, dude. And I'm all for pushing boundaries. I'm all for explicit imagery. I'm all for, exploring like deep sexual themes and horror and this and that. But like this execution is fucking mortifying. And if you are someone who has experienced that kind of trauma, the vast difference in the experience you will have playing the original Silent Hill 2 game versus watching this scene is going to be fucking enormous. And this movie should come, I feel, with some trigger warning because I feel like it's a bit extreme for like just a mainstream theater release. It's too much. Um,
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
glad
it.
at that by that point, he was my son was playing on my phone. Like he had already had enough. He was already bored of the movie that was made for
Yeah,
10-year-olds.
yeah. He was
Like
bored of the he was bored of the movie that was made for 10-year-olds.
he was just like anyway.
I can't imagine anybody being looking at this and be like, man, they really did Angela justice. They really did the abstract daddy justice.
Yeah,
Like it's fucking bizarre.
it was very uncomfortable.
It's bad,
It was,
yeah.
and you and I have had sort of this discussion when I was helping you with the post trauma
Yeah.
stuff because that was my very first experience even hearing the words abstract and daddy in the same sentence,
Yeah.
right? um and you were explaining to me what it was, and I looking at it, the graphically it was like there's nothing tasteful about a situation like that, but if you're going to approach a subject like that, they did it in a very tasteful manner where it is left to your
You're
imagination.
talking about the original game.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And then you had shown me, but here in the remake, I believe, right?
Yeah.
That it was much more clear what was happening.
It was clearer, but the creature design is still
Right.
pretty ambiguous.
But then it's like they took it 10 fucking steps further in this movie. And I mean, the way it was moving, the noises, the actual physical faces, none of it was abstract.
Yeah.
Now it was
That's
just
a good.
daddy.
I too noted the irony. Yeah. It's nothing abstract. It's very clear what it's supposed to be. Because you even see like the legs spread.
Yes,
They're like sticking off on the
there
end, and it's very disturbing.
About it. There was nothing. It was a very clear outline of and her face, or you can by this point you can recognize Mary's facial features, right? So you can tell it is her, and it is clearly a man on top of her. I don't know. It was very. But here's another thing that I don't know. It doesn't make any sense because it turns out James was Pyramid Head, but when the movie first started and they talked about they had that weird creepy doll or mannequin head or whatever with the hinges of her father in the closet, and Pyramid Head first showed up, my first thought was her father
was dad,
Pyramid Head, right?
Sure, yeah.
Which he, if you follow this movie in his own right, he is a monster.
Yeah, because he kills Maria. He's pretty violent
and
in general.
And he
sexually
assaulted his daughter
on the table with the spider.
And Pyramid Head also, again, like assaulted another variation of Mary.
You could even look at in the game, like you could look at Pyramid Head, like the great knife, the weapon that he carries, almost being like phallic in its design,
but
like penetrating her body. But like there's so many ways you could look at it like that.
Like I said, he assaults another version of Mary again on a table.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like I thought that would make sense that was her father. Right? Like I was like, but then that whole thing of like James's head being inside of Pyramid Head, or it's James's face or whatever. I don't know. I think they could have.
It's a 10-year-old's interpretation. If you explained Silent Hill 2 to a 10-year-old,
I did last night. I did in the car. Do you remember when we got out of the car and I was like, because he was trying to like go off on all kinds of stuff.
He was like, I figured it out, guys.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, you didn't. I was like, here it is. I was like, this is all 90% of this is in his head.
Yeah.
And I was like, he did this. I was like, his girlfriend was sick. He's going back to see her. And I was like explaining it. And when I was done, he was like, my head hurts. But he was infinitely less impressed with the movie.
Yeah.
Right? Like he was like, oh. Because in his head, he thought like, what a fucking cool twist. James is Pyramid Head.
Yeah.
And that's all because that is what all the fucking Silent Hill diehard, like, slob on Konami's knob fans are going to fucking be like. There's going to be people, we talked about this before we even saw a second of that movie. There are going to be people who believe truly that if they do not fully embrace and suck this movie's dick hard, that they're not truly a Silent Hill fan. And that is what defines them as being a Silent Hill fan, right? Like, so like, they have to defend it to the end, because if they don't, then how can they call themselves a Silent Hill fan? Yeah. And I told you, if Konami packaged shit in a box and said, this is shit from the toilets of Silent Hill, or this is shit from James Sunderland's ass, they would buy it.
I mean, there's actual in-game precedent for them to market actual shit.
Like as a collector's item, they would buy it.
There's in Silent Hill 2 at one point, for literally no reason, the game will give you the option to just reach into a toilet, but there's nothing in there.
Oh.
But it's like, do you want to? It's like a little survival horror moment. Do you want to reach inside the toilet or whatever? And James just reaches in to a shit-filled toilet, and there's nothing in there for that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So they could be like, they could literally sell shit and be like,
jars.
it's from the toilet.
They could sell jars of fucking shitty toilet water on their website right next to their fucking smother your wife pillow.
Yeah.
And people would buy it.
Yeah.
Because that is how they would feel. It truly defines them as a true Silent Hill fan. You got all kinds of vitriol from all these people on you didn't like Silent Hill F. It was, all these people were like, not a real fan. Nobody qualifies anybody as a real fan of anything. It doesn't make any sense. This movie fucking sucked. It sucked. I don't care. Like, I don't even care if you are the biggest Silent Hill fan. If you tell me that this movie was a good movie and it was well done, like, you're lying to me and you're lying to yourself. Period.
Real quick, I want to touch on something you mentioned, because you were talking about the negative responses I got.
Sorry, I just got really upset.
It's okay. No. Listen, you got to let it out. This movie is absolute
I've
fucking
been holding my
garbage.
rage in.
Yeah.
This whole time we were talking.
It's so funny too, because you mentioned people responding to my Silent Hill F review and saying that I either am not a real Silent Hill fan, or, you know, for not liking it or whatever else.
Claims,
right. One, and there's a couple things I want to say about that. One, I think if you're really a fan of something, you stand up for it.
Sure.
You fight for it to be the best that it can be.
Mm-hmm.
And Silent Hill F was not the best that it could be in terms of gameplay, in terms of narrative, in terms of execution of anything. But I will say, this movie is better than Silent Hill F, based on the sole premise that it only takes an hour and 45 minutes to get through.
Yeah.
And
Mary has really good hair.
Yeah, and Mary has nice hair.
Mary's hair really carried.
But I also don't have to sit through unbearable fucking gameplay.
Yeah.
And sit through all the, because it's so funny, because Silent Hill F actually gets crosses some of the same lines that this movie does in terms of
I was thinking that too.
The overt nature of the.
Yeah, I was like, is this where they're going with this now?
Yeah.
Like, now Silent Hill is just going to become
it's
this weird,
it's
perverse,
something
like sexual, overtly sexual.
Well,
like,
it's not the sexual themes specifically. It's just the overt nature of how the themes are explored, right? It's you said for 10-year-olds, like, it's like Silent Hill for dummies.
Yeah.
Silent Hill F is like Silent Hill for dummies, right? This movie is like Silent Hill 2 for 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
Like, as much as I dislike Bloober Team's remake of Silent Hill 2, they still get so much right in that game.
Yeah.
And I really, because I fucking hate Bloober Team, but I give them a lot of credit for how much they got right in that remake. I was shocked. And I was happy to be wrong, because I thought it was going to be a shit show.
Do you still hate Bloober Team? Like, is that like maybe like past tense?
Having a decent remake of a classic, and a solid game in Chronos, does not make them less shit.
Okay.
They've made the literal worst games in the genre.
Okay.
Like, The Medium is still, like, I think the worst horror game ever made. So, but there are different creators at Bloober Team. Like, the director of Chronos, I don't think directed any of the previous games. I think he's been part of their team, but I think it was the first game he directed. I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that for my review, but yeah, no, it's like, this movie has so many of the same issues as Silent Hill F does, and I realize what it is. And this is like an issue with a lot of franchises and media nowadays. So much media is just made for dummies, right? And I mean this as generously as I possibly can. Like, it is like, we can't leave anything up to the imagination. We can't leave any questions unanswered, because if we alienate even a single person, we may lose money, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know the irony in that being that this movie only cost like $23 million to make, and like 6 different production houses contributed to that. But, like, I think if you enjoy this movie, I don't think you would actually like the original Silent Hill 2. I don't think you would get the original Silent Hill 2. And I'm not saying that as some elitist. Like, I don't think Silent Hill 2 is hard to get, but I think the sensibilities that it takes to connect with it emotionally and be vulnerable and like really understand and work through the themes and the narrative and connect with James and connect with the characters. I think if you can do that, you will inherently dislike this film. But if you can't do that, I think this film is for you.
I think this movie was made for the same people who would buy a pillow. Like, I know I'm really stuck on that, but like, I think this movie is
Yeah.
made for the same people. There are
You mean the
people.
fans? Like it's a, oh, we made this movie for the fans. Do you mean like that?
Yeah, although like reading some stuff on it, it's like the director is like, we really wanted to make this movie. We didn't want it to just be for gamers, right? Like we wanted like anybody who has um no ties to Silent Hill whatsoever to be able to watch this. You don't have to have seen the first or the second movie, which you shouldn't see either of those because they're terrible.
I don't know. I think you should maybe see the second one because it's really funny.
It is funny.
It is very funny.
It was like, yeah, it was. He basically had talked about like you don't have to have any sort of prior knowledge of Silent Hill to watch and enjoy this film. That was his goal, right? Or that was like a thing that he was like really proud of. And I'm like, I've never played a Silent Hill game, and my knowledge extends to things you've told me, things I've learned in helping like do some art stuff for you and the host, and questions I've asked.
Yeah.
And the two movies I've watched.
Yeah.
Right? Which again, like I said at the very beginning, I only knew like Silent Hill was just synonymous with Pyramid Head. Like those were the things that were a thing. I was shocked to find out that Pyramid Head wasn't actually even supposed to be like that. He wasn't as big of a, he was like monumental to everybody I knew. I think this movie is made for people who just want any fucking crumb of Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Any tiny little piece of Silent Hill.
Do you remember what I said in my first episode of Silent Hill F about the purpose of Silent Hill F was to occupy space and time until the next Silent Hill monstrosity rolls into town and starts throwing boxes around? And that's what it feels like, literal content.
It's for people who just need something to satisfy their Silent Hill fucking craving.
Scratch the itch, as people say.
And they don't care if it's good or bad or anything. They will fucking add it to their collection. They will buy the jar of shit toilet water. They will buy the washcloth with which Mary...
The monogram washcloth with the blood stain.
Was, suffocated with. Like, they will inevitably take every bit of money they have for these things because they're not and they will seriously be like, I am a diehard fan. You can be a diehard fan of something and admit it won't kill you to admit this movie was fucking trash.
Well, I think that's going to happen. I think we've already seen a little bit of it,
but I'm talking about.
But there are people who are gonna love it.
I'm talking about Homeboy on Rotten Tomatoes, who said something about, like, if you like psychological, like, twisty, turny horror movies that are incredible and you are a fan of Silent Hill, you should go jerk this movie off. 5 stars. The audacity to push all 5 of those stars.
Yeah, no, if you are, like, a true, like, real big fan of, like real psychological horror, man, like, I don't think this is really like a psychological horror film. It's not particularly scary. There were a couple of jump scares that I think will get a lot of people. Like 1 or 2 jump scares.
There were 2 jump scares within like the first 20 minutes, and then they were done.
I think one of the reasons is, and this stems all the way back to the first Silent Hill movie, but it also is kind of a thing in the games too. The games are really fucking scary, like, the first time you play them. Like, there's something about that, the atmosphere, the sound design, like, it just gets everybody. Like, Silent Hill is an inherently scary franchise.
That's what I always understood, that it was supposed to be scary, but, like...
But the films... But there's... In the games, there's also this element of, like, beauty to it, where the like, some of the creature designs, the environments, like, there's almost, like... It's such a rare example of, like, it's horrifying and grotesque, but also kind of beautiful at the same time.
Well, it didn't become like a huge franchise and have this following for being shitty, right? The problem is
the irony, right, the fucking irony.
The problem is that at some point you can just keep pumping out things under a established franchise,
Oh, sure.
and they don't have to be good anymore.
Yeah. Especially
You know,
if you keep it below a certain budget, you'll make your money back.
it's exactly like I've told you, if you continue doing YouTube and content creation and all of that, like you've shown me content creators, right, who started off and they were legit. They had actual things to say, they
Yeah.
cared, whatever. And then they just have to meet their quota of pumping out the next video to appease their audience and their subscribers. And great, but that's why I'm like 1,000% on board for you just doing what makes you happy. And if it takes you 6 weeks to put out another video, it takes you 6 weeks, because people will support you or they won't. But if you become this, if I will tell you right now, and we're recording, so it will have it for posterity. If you ever become a douchey content creator where you start like jerking off Konami because they are sending you copies of the newest Silent Hill game, and you're like, and in private you're like, babe, this was the worst fucking game
Can you imagine
played. But then on there you're like, what's up, gamers? I'm here to tell you that this game fucking ruled.
Can you imagine?
I would leave. I would just be gone. Like,
no, can you imagine Konami watching my Silent Hill F review and then being like, send him a care package? Like,
I'm saying, if you ever become that kind of,
yeah,
do you know what I mean? Because I feel like what the whole point I'm trying to get at is, you reach a level of success in any medium, in any thing that you're doing, where at that point you can sort of like just coast, right? There are content creators out there who can just whatever. The Silent Hill franchise is one that can now just it will just make money.
It does feel that way. It wasn't like that for a long time, but I think it's back to that point
because it doesn't matter anymore what they put out. If it's shit, if it's great, people are gonna buy it. People are gonna buy the fucking deluxe editions. They're gonna pay for it no matter how much it costs. They're gonna buy collector's item stuff. They're gonna buy if it says Silent Hill and it's fucking Silent Hill approved, they're buying it. Silent Hill toothbrush, I'm ready.
Silent Hill toothbrush.
Let's fucking brush my teeth with this, with this pyramid head 10-year-old child toothbrush.
Yeah.
Whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. They can put out literally anything.
It's like Spaceballs. It's like Silent Hill the flamethrower.
Yes.
Yeah.
It can literally be any of that. And unfortunately, that's where it's the same thing with certain like bands, right? Or certain movie franchises.
Yeah, it's like Star Wars, Marvel.
Star Wars.
It's like you almost get too big to fail, and if you could just continue pumping out the content, you are gonna.
And I'm not saying that they can't fail. Like, I'm not saying that like Silent Hill as a franchise can't at some point fail, but I feel like they
it would take a lot.
They are definitely at that point where it would be a lot. Like, you would have to consistently bomb every single thing, and I just don't think that the fan base that is like rabid and crazy like that will allow it to fail. They will support it no matter what. You told me I don't think I'll ever buy another Silent Hill game again, right?
I won't,
right?
Unless it's like the classic games, if they remaster them and bring those back.
But like you talked about, like, because they have plans, right?
Silent Hill 1 remake is coming from Bloober Team.
But they have plans to release a new Silent Hill game. Like, Silent Hill F was like the rebirth of like, now they're gonna do a game like every year or whatever, right?
That's what they said.
So if they do that, and I won't judge you if you do.
I'm not. Oh no, I have no. I have no. I didn't say that to blow smoke. Like, I have no intention of.
But like, even if you were like, you know what, one comes out and you're like, that looks redeeming. No. I wanna.
There's no redeeming this. Even if they were to say, okay, Classic Collection is coming. Silent Hill 1, 2, and 3, the original games, we're porting those to GOG and Steam. Right, and maybe even console too. Like, those games are preserved now, DRM free on GOG.
Yeah,
forever. that would change nothing. I would buy them
Sure.
to send the message that preservation is important to me,
Yeah.
and that I want those games. But that would change. It's like those people who say like, well, this movie is bad, and it makes the first movie look better by comparison. It doesn't. It doesn't change how bad something else is.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, no,
a shit sandwich and a shit sandwich with cheese are both shit sandwiches. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's I don't prescribe to that school of thought. Like I said what I said about not playing Silent Hill games for a reason. I'm done. I don't care what the fucking gameplay of Silent Hill 1 remake, and I don't even care that it's from Bloober Team, because after Chronos, all I want to see them do is original stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want to see their next Silent Hill remake. I'm fucking over that. I'm done with remakes in general. Like, I'm so tired of it. I'm ready for something new, right? So I think there is a lot of truth to what you're saying, because Konami is working so hard to keep these projects at such a small budget that the profit margin is guaranteed.
Absolutely.
I think there will be a great point of diminishing returns, though, at some point, because it happened with the original games. The reason they started outsourcing the games to Western studios was because of the enormous dip in sales as the franchise went on. Because even from Silent Hill 1 through 3, there was a dip, and it kept going, right? And then the Western games started. Well, Origins, I think, was still an Eastern studio, but Homecoming onward was Western studios dipping. Then they tried to do the reboot with PT and Kojima. That obviously fell through. So hiatus. We're done with Silent Hill. Right. Then all of a sudden, this revival, they announce a billion projects. We're doing another movie. We're doing this game. We're doing this. We're doing this. We're doing this. And we also have skateboards. And we also have this. It's like you're pouring so much money and so many resources into this. There's no way this as an overall project can be a success. Silent Hill 2 remake did well. Silent Hill F sold, I think, 1 million copies, which for what I presume the budget is based on what rumors are, that's still profitable for them. So Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill F are profitable. None of these other projects have made them any fucking money. This movie will probably bomb. Even with a $23 million budget, it's going to fucking flop. Yeah. So, but here's the thing. What did Konami really pay for? It wasn't produced by Konami. Right. It was in association with Konami. Yeah. Even the credits saying that the music was composed by Akira Yamaoka is a lie, because all of the tracks already existed. They're not even recomps like they were in the other movies. Oh, okay. The first 2 movies, they had some recompositions. In this movie, most of the tracks that you heard from Silent Hill were just one. They just took the track and put it in the movie. And then all of the original stuff, I cannot even accept the fact that Akira Yamaoka composed any of that shit, because it sounds comically generic. Do you remember any of the music from the movie? It was so generic. No, it was not. I couldn't hum a note. Yeah. But I could tell you the actual the other licensed songs from the games that were in the movie. So they started in the bar. I think it was "I Want Love" that played. Yeah. And they used actual songs from the games. Okay. So but they also, some of the songs they used kind of in a way that didn't feel appropriate. And part of the reason was, and I said this back when they announced this movie, so many pivotal, iconic tracks from Silent Hill 2, the game, were splattered throughout the other 2 Silent Hill movies. Yeah, you told me that. Yeah. That they completely lose their sort of personal, intimate connection to this. Because every single track in this that's from Silent Hill 2 was already in the other Silent Hill movies. So it just feels so been there, done that, out of place. It just doesn't have the same connection that it did before. So, back to the movie. Yeah. Yeah.
So after he discovers
Abstract Daddy scene happens.
Yeah. Mary, awful. Angela, Laura, Pyramid Head, Eddie.
The third Esquire. Yeah. Doctor Mary.
Yeah.
All those, they discover her full name. Yes. Then you get
then Abstract Daddy, and then once that is done, which honestly, I'm gonna be perfectly honest, I don't remember how that resolved. The
Abstract Daddy thing?
Yeah. I feel like it was just like you were there and then it wasn't.
Yeah, honestly, that's the problem with this movie. It's it's just go, go, go. Yeah. Near the end.
Because I don't remember how he gets out of that room or how that happens, but I know that he's on the rooftop of the hotel where they have the patio, because this is where I started just losing it laughing, because
Oh, yeah.
because he gets there. It's everything's on fire. That's also
Yeah.
because suddenly then
Oh no,
everything's
he he
burning.
he he leaves. He gets out of the abstract daddy room. This is actually a moment that kind of fucking pissed me off. So he gets out of the abstract daddy room, and then you see Mary running up the stairs, and he
Oh,
follows her up to the roof, right?
okay.
But the going up the stairs with the burning
Yeah.
is just straight up taken from Silent Hill 2. But that is the resolution of Angela's story.
I thought so because I've seen pictures of Angela going
Because
upstairs.
she makes the choice to, she ultimately gives up, Angela, right?
Okay.
She and that's when that's when their stories collide.
Mm.
And James sees the fire for the first time.
Okay.
And he says, "It's hot as hell in here." And iconically, Angela says one of the most iconic lines from the game. Angela says, "For me, it's always like this."
Okay.
It's an incredibly endearing moment. And she asks for the knife back. James refuses to give it to her. She walks up the stairs,
Okay.
essentially, this is Angela's death scene.
Okay.
She just walks up the burning stairs and
Okay.
never to be seen again. And then in the movie, it's just Mary just runs up the stairs real quick. And then
Yeah.
no line, no. I mean, I guess it's cool that they didn't try to shoehorn the lines in. They could have made it work.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay,
for me, it's always like this. Like they could have fucking forced it, but it would have made sense. But like that moment, it's just a quick Mary up the stairs, and I'm like, oh well, that's they're just doing that now.
So yeah, then he follows her up the burning stairs.
And now, please describe your reaction to the rooftop scene.
Now he goes into the. He's on the rooftop, the patio, where there was a flashback of them like having lunch, holding hands, being cute, kissing, blah blah blah. Now everything's on fire, and then here's Mary on a bed on the burning rooftop.
She's like wrapped up in sheets,
Yeah.
like she's about to get cremated by
Right.
fucking Sam and Dean or something.
But
Like,
then, yeah, like she's having a hunter funeral.
yeah, she's got a hunter's funeral. Yeah.
Then there's the flashback of now you see
The truth. You
that
see the
bed
ultimate reveal.
that she's laying on is actually a bed from the Lakeview Hotel.
Yeah.
And for some reason, which is never explained, but why would they? She's in the hotel, like dying or whatever.
Yeah.
She's just in the hotel room, and she's got like her bloody face, and she's coughing and all of that, and and that's where you realize he came back
Yeah.
to realize she was dying.
Yeah.
And that's when he's like, how can I, like, I wish there was some way I could save you or help you or whatever he says. And then she's like, you know, you can, you know what to do.
By the way, can we just pause for 1 sec?
Hmm.
I actually really like this scene.
Yeah.
And it really sucks that it's buried in this shit movie.
Yeah.
Because these two actors are like really fucking good here.
Yeah.
And I want to paint the whole scene.
Sure.
Because I really like this scene. And it's such a shame that it's at the mercy of such a pile of unremittent dog shit. So James enters the room, and Mary alludes to this at the very beginning of the movie. The view from the hotel.
Yeah.
And James even makes a joke about, oh, that must be where the hotel gets its name from.
Yeah.
Lakeview, because she
Yeah.
talks about the view of the lake from the top of the hotel.
Yeah.
She's sitting in a chair in the open window with the sheets blowing,
Okay.
and you see the mountain, and it really is beautiful. It almost it might even be real. I don't know if they found a location to shoot on there, but it looks so good. And she's there, and you get the sunlight on her, and she just looks like a real person. It's Mary, but
That's
she's like
right. She's like frazzled.
but
and
she's
hairy,
still
yeah.
fucking sick. Her hair's fucked up,
her
and
eyes
she's
are all
she's
pink
pale and
and
sick
stuff.
looking.
Yeah.
And she's laying in the chair, and she asks James to carry her to the bed.
Yeah.
And it's just like it feels so honest and heartfelt. It's like this could have been in a really good movie. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Honestly, I think by that point I was kind of.
That's the problem. Like, most
Like-
people will be if you feel even remotely close to how we do, you're going to be checked out. So it's hard to appreciate these things, but I still really try to look for the positive. And
Yeah. Oh, that
like,
was a nice.
I really like this scene from start to. There's not an ounce of this scene I don't like. And he carries her to the bed, and then I think she's got blood coming out of her nose. It's like all over
yeah.
her
So he
mouth.
goes to get a washcloth.
He goes to get the washcloth from the bathroom, and she reaches over to grab like a glass of water.
Yeah.
And she's so weak, she like knocks it off, and it breaks, and she falls kind of half out of the bed. She's like hanging off the bed.
Yeah.
He picks her back up, puts her in the bed, and he kind of starts wiping, and she like stops him, and they're having a moment, and they're getting emotional, and then eventually it boils down to you know, can you do something for me, or will you do something for me?
Right.
And he's like, what do you want? And she's like, you know what to do.
Yeah.
And the implication is that she's asking him to kill her.
Sure.
It's very clear. And he's like, I can't do that. I know I can't do that. It's like, it's so good. Like, they're both really, like, this actress, especially that played Mary, is awesome.
Yeah, well,
I don't know what else. I don't think I've ever seen anything else, but she's really good. I mean, the actor that did play James was good too, but she's fucking great. I don't know her name if you want to look it up, but
Hannah Emily Anderson.
Hannah Emily Anderson, Angela Laura Anderson.
Great.
Eddie.
Doctor.
Pyramid Head the Third.
Esquire.
Yeah. She did a fantastic job as Mary.
She was in Jigsaw, the 8th film. So.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
Yeah, she was fantastic, and she's great in this scene, and so is the actor that plays James.
Yeah.
And then she says, "Do it, bro."
Yeah.
And he whispers Makushla or whatever.
Yeah.
And fucking, he puts the rag that he had to wipe her mouth off. He puts it over her mouth and nose with his hands and like holds her down, and she's like
actually
kind of
like seems like he's
really it's hurting him so much. Yeah, it's like it's a really well executed scene, and then
it snaps
back.
To the roof.
Yeah, and then I'll let you take this one. So come back to the roof. The roof is on fire.
And then and it's and I think this is why I sort of blocked that part out, because this part was so funny to me, because there's this like beautiful like touching emotional scene, right, where he's like had to kill this woman who he loves.
Yeah.
And like you're kind of coming right off the heels of that, and this music is playing. This is the only time I remember the music playing in the movie.
Yeah.
Because the music was like sad and touching, right? And then it looks like they put fucking fishing wire on this Lakeview hotel bed. It's like a old metal bed frame. And then it's like slowly, like shakily just floating off of the fucking rooftop. Like, in the air with her on it, like mummy style. And like
it looks I get what they were going for, and they did do some stuff practically. It just looks kind of funny.
It looked like if you had like a marionette, like if it was a model bed and you had someone who like maybe had too much coffee that day holding marionette strings.
Or there's like people on the strings, but like one of them is way weaker than the other guy. He's like,
fuck! Like the guy who was supposed to do it was out sick that day.
So they had to get like the intern.
Little
Stevie.
Or like the really old guy there to do it. And he's like really trying to hold on because like the bed is just so shaky.
It looks so funny.
And it looked so fucking stupid, especially in direct contrast to this scene you just saw before.
But it's not even the stupidest looking thing that happens in this fucking scene. It gets worse.
So then the bed is now vertical in the air.
I think it starts slightly going nightmare mode first. It starts getting deteriorating.
Okay. Yeah.
And then it flips up.
Yeah. So now.
And the
sheets are opening up.
They unravel.
And they are moth wings.
They're moth wings.
And then there again is
salad fingers.
Mary.
In the bed.
Yeah.
She looks like a fucking a monster from the Power Rangers or something.
She looks like the meme of the alien who's very thirsty.
Oh my god, she does. She looks like the dehydrated alien.
She looks like that.
It's looks so like funny.
That. But like also she has salad fingers.
She has salad fingers.
So I was cracking the fuck up.
The wings open up, it's her, and then the roof of the hotel collapses into the fire.
Yeah.
And James starts fucking floating.
Yeah.
And in my head, I immediately started playing fucking I immediately started hearing Wicked.
Yeah.
In my head.
You even said
I was singing it in the theater.
Yeah.
And I just imagined, like, I'm going to have to splice in some Wicked footage, or at least the music. It's so funny looking. And I get what they were going for. Like, I get it.
Oh, I understand exactly every
But it's just a goofy execution.
Movie. But yeah, the way they did it, it was very poorly executed.
So James starts floating up towards, like, in the air towards the bed as well.
Yeah, and Salad Fingers
reaches out. Her forearms come out and like go to grab him,
and then she
embraces him,
and she kind of forgives him. This is like his forgiveness moment. Which
doesn't hold on. So this is like where the movie like pissed me off the most. I was already done with it, but somehow I still got offended, right? the act of forgiveness that's something like this would require, right? I understand that he can't forgive himself.
Sure.
Right? So she's trying to help him get there, like forgive yourself and move on.
Mm-hmm.
But like she wanted him to do it.
Yeah.
So it's traumatic in a way, but like what is there to really forgive yourself for? You committed this act that this person you loved wanted because she was dying either way.
Sure.
Right? And you helped sort of like perform the mercy killing in a way. And you have to live with that one way or the other. And I know that it hurts, right? But in the game, like I said earlier, it's never made clear what Mary actually said that could have led to the killing. It's just eat pillow, bitch.
Yeah.
And then it's up to you to kind of piece it together and find the canon ending for yourself, right?
Sure.
And even in my favorite ending, which is the leave ending, where he essentially, in a way, is forgiven by Mary, and then he and Laura leave Silent Hill together, there's still the implication that, well, he may have to face whatever punishment awaits him, legally, right? Yeah. If he's ever, but that's not what matters. What matters is the journey, James's journey and the emotional catharsis that arises as a result of that. But what forgiveness does he really need in this particular case? Like actually, like he just has to forgive himself?
I guess. Maybe. Yeah.
I mean, regular therapy would work way better than all of this other stuff then, I think.
Like better than monsters and nurses that are made of porcelain, or maybe that was his therapy.
It would take several flowcharts and teams of scientists for me to break down everything wrong with this movie. And part of me wants to because I could, but it's like I don't know how much time I want to dedicate to this movie because it's so fucking bad.
Well, either way.
But yeah, so she embraces him, she forgives him.
He needed the forgiveness, which clearly was what he was after all along.
But it gets worse still for me. So after that, we are back to the ground of the roof of the hotel, and everything's kind of back to normal. It's like regular Silent Hill now, so everything's just like gray and ashy, so like regular Silent Hill. And then she's just laying there, wrapped in the sheet again, Hunter's funeral style. Yeah. He picks her up, carries her to the car.
Yeah, he weekend at Bernie's her.
He weekend at Bernie's her, and then puts her in the car, and then drives off a bridge into Lake Toluca. Mm-hmm. Presumably to die.
Yes.
Right? And this is actually, in the game, this is called the in-water ending.
Oh, okay.
Where you hear James's monologue, he can't live with what he's done, he drives his car into Lake Toluca and dies.
Okay.
That's one of the endings.
Okay.
However, the movie does something that I didn't think was even possible. It manages to shoehorn in almost every ending and almost every fan theory you can possibly imagine in over the course of the events of the film, but also in the endings. So he drives the car into the lake, and he's gonna die, and you think that's it. And I don't know how that would have been a satisfying ending because he just received the forgiveness.
Sure.
Even though she wanted him to kill her.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So he's killing himself because he's now been forgiven and he accepts what happened, but he still can't live with it. It's like, then what the fuck is the point of the journey? So that's problematic, number one. Number two, it's a fake out because he goes into the lake, starts breathing in the bubbles. By the way, this scene looks so bizarre. It's the first time I've ever seen an underwater scene film in a movie where the characters were very clearly not in water, but they still had the hair physics that weren't CGI. So I don't know how they created this effect. There's no water, but they're in the water. It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, though,
right?
Looked
terrible.
It looked so bad.
Yeah, it looked really bad.
Then hard cut.
Yeah, another one.
To James back in his car, almost hitting Mary at the rest stop.
Yeah, knocking her suitcase over.
So we are now canonizing the time loop theory that Silent Hill 2 Remake has helped reestablish and popularize, where he went through all that, and now he could possibly go through it again. But it ends up being not necessarily a fake out, but it ends up being kind of just a trick in general because that's not how things go. He finds her, she still stays off the bus, he helps her put her stuff back in her suitcases. They flirt, they fall in love all over again, but they get in the car and then they actually drive away from Silent Hill.
Right.
Right. So they don't go back, and he's like, "Let me just take you wherever, and we'll go." Presumably to go fall in love or whatever, and then that's it. So
Yeah.
that should be a happy ending. But she'd still been consuming the drugs this whole time.
Sure.
From the cult, right?
She even says that at some point in the thing. At some point in the movie, he says something about like expressing regret of how he should have driven her away that day or whatever. And she's like, I would have still, you know what I mean?
I would have died anyway. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So like they really drive that home when he's driving away with her because it's like you're gonna do this, but she's still gonna die.
Yeah.
Like, she's already past a point of she's consumed this drug since she was younger.
I mean, the most charitable interpretation would be maybe, with the right doctors and the right help, she could become healthy.
We're really...
Or she's doomed to die, but they can have a happy life together until that happens.
Sure.
Or whatever. Like you could be charitable
yeah, sure.
too.
I get how it's
but it's like,
a happy ending.
but she's still gonna die anyway.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, that's the end too. There's nothing else, by the way. There's nothing else. That is the end of the movie. And I went in knowing it was going to be garbage. I expected trash. And I was still kind of shocked at how bad it was.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say something controversial. I think it's worse than the first Silent Hill movie, but I also think that movie's trash anyway, so don't watch that one either. But I still think it's worse than that one. That one's kind of inoffensive in its badness in some aspects. It's still terrible, but this movie offends the fuck out of me in so many ways. And I can't imagine what there is to really get out of this movie outside of some neat visual stuff here and there. Because, like, for example, if you're not a fan of the games, if you're not familiar with the games,
sure.
This movie is both, like, it's got horror aspects, but then it also has, like, this fantasy element where, like, the creatures are kind of scary, but they also retain that sort of, beautiful aspect,
sure.
That is kind of present in the games too. So like you see something like Mary, like Moth Mary at the end, and it's like, that's kind of to some people that might be kind of just a neat visual, like, oh, I've never seen anything like that in a horror movie.
Sure.
I'm trying to be charitable. I'm trying to be charitable here, but like I just feel like there's nothing to get out of this movie that you can't get out of the original game, even though I know it's not possible for most people to play, or even the remake. I don't like the remake. I think it's a pretty bad game overall. But in terms of like a reinterpretation of the game, where they still try to keep the spirit of the original story intact, I think Bloober Team's version is it's going to be a good option for a lot of people. Like if you have no other way to play Silent Hill 2, I would say you can try it. But that game just misses the point in a lot of very crucial areas. But this movie misses the point of everything that James goes through, that Mary goes through, their relationship to Silent Hill and all these other things, and Angela, Eddie, the other characters. It is just money burning on the screen. Yeah. There's a reason it came out in January. The other two movies did not release in January. The first one came out, I think, it was like a September, or it was like a late summer, early fall release, I believe. And then the Revelation actually came out in October. It was like a Halloween release. Okay. It was like, see the scariest 3D movie of all time, and it was a comedy. But then you have a January release for this, and it's like 6 production houses in association with Konami. Christoph Gans, who is a fucking washed-up director who has never made anything that was even close to the quality of the original Silent Hill 2. And I just don't understand what the fucking point of this movie is. And this is why I wanted to have this conversation with you, because you are someone who has such an extremely loose relationship with the franchise. You've already talked about it, right? Like what you've absorbed through my videos and the stuff that we've worked on together.
Sure.
And then the other films, but beyond that, you know so little. You're going into this as sort of like almost just a casual mainstream viewer to a certain extent.
Sure. But again,
but you also like good movies.
If I had just like gone with like, a group of friends
we're going to go see Silent Hill.
And they had played the game and I hadn't, I would never pick that game up.
Yeah.
Knowing after seeing the movie, like ever. I would be like, if this is based on that game, that game is dumb.
Yeah.
Like, it's dumb. That's a
Yeah.
dumb game.
Yep.
Because I wouldn't know that without, I thought it was so dumb how they, and I really, more so, I was angry at how, um, I felt like it was really stupid how the way they treated the audience, like, you were supposed to what be like, whoa, when they reveal that
Oh.
she's
Oh.
everybody.
Yeah. Oh. Oh. Wow. Those are. It's all
I
her.
feel
Yeah.
like that's almost insulting to
Yeah.
like a person with just average fucking
It's
intelligence,
pretty. Yeah. It's
right?
pretty bad. Yeah.
Because it's like you didn't do some crazy M. Night Shyamalama ding dong twist there, bro. Like just you just gave her six names to like mush all the characters together, you know?
Yeah.
And also, yeah, I would have been like, what the fuck was the I did. What was the point of Eddie being there?
They
Why did they put some dude in there? He had no purpose
literally no
being in
point
there.
to be
He
a.
just was there to
He
walk down a hallway and then kick James and then be like,
Yeah,
peace out.
of all the inclusions, I mean, from the game, like he is the least relevant in this specific story. This in Return to Silent Hill, Eddie is the least relevant character. He didn't need to be there. He's there because remember Eddie. Like
Yeah.
that's it. But I do have to say something like this movie's bad, but there are things about it. I see these little moments, these little pieces where if they just trusted the audience and they didn't treat the audience like fucking idiots, there are elements of this movie that would have worked so much better. Like when in a better psychological horror movie, this is what would have happened, right? You wouldn't see the headstone, you wouldn't see any of that shit,
Right.
right? You would just have James get to the room with Angela on the mattress. She's wearing Mary's dress.
Right.
And she's acting the way she's acting.
Yeah.
What is the connection here? Even if you don't explain that, the fact that you're asking the question or you're having the viewer ask the question and then they walk away going, huh, so is that also a memory of Mary's? Was she the one that went through that? Was that
Right.
so then does that mean in the beginning of the movie when he met Angela, is that just like another fragment of Mary or
Yeah.
kind of like Maria? Like are they kind of the same thing? Because like the movie basically is equating Maria, Angela, and Laura are all facets of Mary's history and her upbringing and stuff. So like they don't leave anything unanswered. It's the same problem with Silent Hill F. They tell you, they bury you, they inundate you with lore, mythology, information,
Yeah.
and so much information that there's no personal interpretation to come away from.
Right.
No one's gonna walk away from this movie going, like, so wait, so was Angela and Mary the same person?
Well, somebody's gonna walk.
You know what? That's true. This is made for 10-year-olds, but that's even insulting to kids because like there is great children's media, like great kids movies that are like even adults can watch and enjoy.
Sure.
So it's like it's just so it goes back to one of the things I said in the beginning, and this is we can kind of start wrapping it up here. These creators just do not fucking understand Silent Hill. They never did. Clearly don't understand Silent Hill 2. And unfortunately, a lot of the fans don't either. The outcry of support or the outpouring of support for Silent Hill F is proof of that. Like, I don't care what that game is called. You can call it Silent Hill F. You can call it fucking The Poop That Took a Pee. I don't care. Like, that game is bad in every single aspect of design, gameplay, and narrative, both, regardless of what the fucking title is.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This movie, no matter what they called it, it would have been bad. But because they are heavily relying on so much iconography from Silent Hill 2, you cannot help but compare the two.
Sure.
As a standalone film, completely divorced from the context of the games, I think this movie is worse. Because at least if you understand the games, you can go, well, yeah, that Pyramid Head is this, and Maria is this, and Mary and James, blah, blah, blah.
You had a lot of moments while we were talking about, well, that was really cool. It was like a 1-for-1 shot of,
like
of
there's
this, or, it was like a nice little Easter egg. I didn't get any of that because I don't know, so to me, this was, like, this movie is like a very poorly executed movie because I am intelligent enough to understand what they were aiming for. I
Yeah.
get what they were trying to do. I just I just don't think that one the execution was well done because it didn't build, there wasn't like suspense built up in this big reveal of she's everybody or whatever. You know what I mean? Um they just didn't, they didn't do a single thing for me that made me feel anything. Like honestly for either of these characters.
Yeah, that scene at the end, like in the hotel, and then like the scene of them meeting, I was like, I could see how these would be like really good bookends of a
Yeah,
story
sure.
inspired by Silent Hill 2.
Yeah.
Because they have those two actors have like good chemistry. Like
Yeah,
they were
yeah,
good
they
together.
were good together
And that
on
final scene in the
screen.
hotel is great.
It was good. It was good. But
Um,
like
but who cares?
it
Like,
didn't, it didn't, obviously it didn't redeem the movie enough because I didn't even remember she was sitting in the chair in the very beginning of that scene.
yeah.
I
Oh,
immediately
just
went,
so people know, like we watched the movie last night. Like we literally just saw this fucking movie. We watched it last night, and it's so easy to forget stuff because the movie, ironically, even though it's based on one of the most like methodically designed, slow-paced, like atmospheric horror games, this movie moves at a fucking breakneck speed. It's like we're here now, we're here now, we're here now, we're here. There's no establishing shots, there's no transitions. It's like boom, boom, boom. And for psychological horror, that isn't necessarily a bad thing, but the execution is fucking everything, and
it's
that's
okay
why.
to like have those jarring, like you're
Yeah,
in
where you're
another
like, wait,
scene, you're
where
in
are
another
we?
scene,
Like,
you're
why
in
are
another
we
scene.
here?
Yeah.
Psychological horror can do that. Like, you know what movie this reminds me of the most? And this comparison is I'm highlighting a good movie, in terms of the execution, in like editing and pacing. But this is a good movie, and this Return to Silent Hill is not. Is Vanilla Sky.
I love Vanilla
Vanilla
Sky.
Sky is fantastic, and this is a movie that does this a lot. You get like some extreme cuts where you're like, you're here, and then you're here for like, you're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, how are we here? But by the time you've wrapped the whole movie up and everything makes sense, like you can understand why the pacing was the way that it was.
Sure.
And in this movie, it really just feels like they couldn't have a movie that was longer than an hour and 45 minutes because theaters wouldn't show it. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Because they have these slow paced
Or like
scenes
they
of them
literally
like
just had
like
enough
how
film.
long was the very beginning of him driving in his car to Silent Hill,
Yeah.
all the way up until he gets to Silent Hill.
They didn't even run like the initial beginning Silent Hill credits until like 20 minutes into the movie.
Yeah, he didn't get to the town. Like he doesn't meet Angela until like 15, 17, almost 20 minutes into the film maybe.
I don't even know. It was
Like it
was
felt like
wild.
forever. Yeah, and it's like in the original game, it starts in the very first scene, it fades in and it's him in the mirror looking at himself,
Okay.
does the hand thing, and it's him like it immediately establishes this like dreamlike atmosphere
Okay.
where like even James seems like he doesn't know if he's real.
Okay.
Like it's almost like he's seeing if trying to see if he's real.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then you get him, he gets a little monologue about Mary. The track that plays is fucking iconic. You get the little Dutch angle in the bathroom. He walks out, and then you have this weird dreamlike moment.
Sure.
Then you get the reading of the letter in Mary's voice with a track that is almost entirely just acoustic guitar. It's very, very, very subdued, and it's like emotional investment. And then as soon as that cutscene ends, where he's like the reading of the letter and the song stops, you just get control of James. No music. You just get to walk around, feel the controls, walk down the long mountain path to Silent Hill, and it's so long because you really get this sense of like I'm separating myself from reality. Sure. I'm wandering in far enough that I'll never be able to go back. It's like it creates this really interesting sense of like there's no turning back. It's a really strong feeling. And then you get to the town, and you're in the town, and then everything starts, and it's still so. I just cannot praise that game enough. And I know people be like, "Listen, Unk, this movie's not for you." But it's like, dude, who is this movie for?
Yeah.
If not if not Silent Hill fans, who the fuck is this movie for?
Right.
Outside of 10-year-olds with a learning disability.
Hey, he doesn't have a learning disability.
Not him. He's special in a good way. Hey. No, in a good way. Like I cannot. I looked at Silent Hill F and I was like, I could kind of understand who this game was for. And it's specifically a Japanese audience, right? Because if you are someone who is not familiar with Japanese mythology, Japanese culture, you know, especially the time period, I think the game will alienate you in a lot of ways that you may not connect with it. But I am not Japanese, and I completely understood everything that was happening. I still hated it, right? But I look at something like this and I'm like, who the fuck is this movie actually for?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think it's for the fan.
I mean, clearly it was just for the three of us last night.
No, I think this movie is for the director.
Yeah. I mean, that would make sense.
I think James is, this version of James is his direct stand-in. I think that's how he views himself, or he once viewed himself. I think that he this might be his last movie as a creator, because it's not going to do well. He's only ever had a handful of movies and they've all fucking sucked. So I think this is his like last hurrah, and he wanted to get it all out before he threw in the towel. He threw in the monogrammed Lakeview Hotel towel.
Washcloth. Yes.
Washcloth.
Yeah, whatever it was.
And there were moments, and I said this about Silent Hill F. There were moments in this movie that felt like fucking fetish material.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
Yeah.
Like, I love psychological. Like, one of my favorite movies is Jacob's Ladder. And there are a couple of moments in that are like really explicitly kind of like sexual, but it's like hard to tell what's happening, and it's like real creepy and weird.
Yeah.
And the level of ambiguity there is palpable. Like, people will walk away from.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that people will walk away from Jacob's Ladder with so many different interpretations of so many scenes, not just like the conclusion, but the whole movie.
Right. They could have done that entire scene with Pyramid Head aggressively punching wingless Moth Mary on the table, like through the closet. Through the slats, where like you don't actually really see anything.
You can't see very well. Yeah. Have it just be through the slats. Yeah.
Like they could have been a little more tasteful about some of that stuff. But like, it was weird. Like there was just, you know,
I can fix that entire section with one change. Remove the Mary spider moth monster.
Yeah.
And just have Pyramid Head kill Eddie.
Yeah.
Because first of all, Eddie's pointless, and I honestly thought that's what was going to happen. Oh, Eddie's here, which means he's here to get killed by Pyramid Head, to showcase how vicious he is.
In the game?
No.
He gets killed?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Eddie, you meet him in the bathroom, right? And he's throwing up, and he has this little speech, and you talk to him, you get to know him for a minute, you leave, and then you don't see him again until you get out back into the town.
Okay.
And you find him at the bowling alley eating pizza. Oh. And then James has one of the most iconic lines in video game history. This town is full of monsters. How can you just sit there and eat pizza? Yeah. It's fucking iconic. And Laura's in there too, and Laura's kind of making fun of him for being fat. Oh. Or she's like, I don't remember what she says, but she's like making fun of him for eating so much. And he's like, he's like chewing pizza. He's like, that's not nice. And it's like, they just feel like real people in the game. Yeah. Ironically, the game is so dreamlike in its atmosphere, and the conversations feel kind of stilted. But they feel like real people. They feel like real characters. And then in this, like, none of these people feel like real characters.
No, they don't feel. I mean, I told you, like, it was like, even Maria in this movie, like, she just like shows up. She's just there. Yeah. And then she's like, "Hey, man, come with me." You know? And like she was doing. Ironically, she was doing what it seems like her character wouldn't want to do, right? Which is help James find Mary, right? And then you have Laura that's already serving that function, because in the game, Laura and Maria are two separate. Like, Laura's a real character, right? Yeah. Maria is like a projection of the town, a manifestation of James's inner desires, right? She's not a real person, but she feels real. Like, there's even a conversation between them later where it's like, she's like, well, you know, I can't remember what the exact words are, but she's like, you like, see, I'm real. Like, he lets her like touch her face or something. But she touches him in the movie. Yeah. And he was like, he kind of like moves back. She's like, I just wanted to make sure you were real.
In the game, she will like advance on him kind of, but it's like very subtle. And then when he kind of reaches, almost like advances back, she'll step away. She sort of represents this like idealized version of Mary that James could never have, right? So every time he gets close to having her, she gets killed. Oh. She dies like 4 times in the game.
Oh, okay.
And then the most iconic cutscene in video game history is the one behind her with her in the prison cell, right? And she's talking to him through the bars, and then James goes through and finally gets to her in the prison. And when he gets to the behind the bars, because she basically offers herself to him at that point, but when he finally gets there, she's dead. She dies she's dead in the prison cell. So it's like she represents so many different things to James, and none of that is present in the movie.
Yeah, no, she's literally just like Mary.
You could remove Maria. You could remove Maria, and you could remove Eddie entirely, and this movie does not change.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
Whereas in the original game, Eddie and Maria are both integral, crucial aspects of the narrative and all that stuff. But just real quick, like that Eddie scene or the Pyramid Head spider scene, like if they had just removed the spider monster,
right,
had Pyramid Head show up and kill Eddie to show how vicious he was and how much of a threat he was, because Eddie's a useless character, his inclusion is pointless, but have him serve that role where James sees him through the slats kill Eddie.
Yeah.
And he's like, fuck, this guy's an actual threat. I got to be careful. And then we also remove Eddie in a way that serves two functions. Then you remove the explicit graphic sexual imagery that is pointless in this version of Silent Hill 2. And then you just have you could have the little bit with Angela / Mary and the skirt and the implication, but then the abstract daddy is too far. So like I've just removed the abstract daddy entirely. Like have her hiking up the skirt.
That was enough.
Well, but what you do is you have her do the skirt, you have the hands reach up from the bed and grab her and start pulling her in, have James get scared and run out of the door, and then he sees Mary or Maria or Mary, whichever one, walking up the stairs and he follows her.
Yeah.
Like have it be a quick like psychological moment kind of meant to shock James, not meant to shock us.
Right.
Because that's what these moments are. They're meant to shock an audience. They're not meant what impact are they having on the character? Because it's so hard to even fully understand where James is as a person in any of this.
Well, I don't think they did a very good job of that because they were so busy moving him from scene to scene to scene, reality to not reality, to regular Silent Hill to dusty Silent Hill to nightmare Silent Hill to fucking...
I think that's kind of a problem with like adapting a video game for film in the first place, because you have these really kind of like iconic cutscenes and dialogue moments between characters, and then you have all the gameplay in between where you're exploring, you're reading notes and documents, you're solving puzzles, and that's the time where you really get to chew on everything that you just absorbed, right?
Yeah.
But I guess if you were to take all those cutscenes, remove all the gameplay, and just do like a cutscene montage on YouTube, right? It's kind of how the movie is, but it's also still faster paced than that. The characters are worse, the writing is worse, the execution is worse. And it looks worse because it's very inconsistent. Whereas in the game, there's one consistent art style, there's one consistent level of fidelity.
Yeah.
But in the movie, it just looks...
Like some of it was very like Blair Witchy, like handheld camera type, it felt like. Not quite that extent, but it was very like shaky.
Shaky cam, yeah. There's stuff like that in the first one too, where I'm just like, why is this here?
And then there was like the
first person POV.
Yeah, the player
stuff.
One, you're playing as James Sunderland.
Yeah.
Then every time he looked in a mirror, he looked like he was a character model.
Yeah, that was like lighting plus CGI schmutz on the mirror. I don't know what was going on there. It looks so weird.
Every mirror in that entire movie was dirty, and it was just like, dude, what?
Well, I mean, to be fair, the whole town's kind of dirty.
Even in the bar and everything, in his studio apartment, everything was dirty. Everything. Yeah. I get it. I just was. I
forgot. Do you remember when they zoomed in to show James inside the Pyramid Head helmet, right? He
was really sweaty in there.
He was real sweaty, but that was to make the 10-year-olds go, oh my God, he's Pyramid Head, right?
Yeah.
But then, we forgot to mention this, it hard cuts to James back in his studio.
Yeah. Oh, the mysterious growth of the beard, and then the beard disappeared. He had very many different levels.
Well, the beard was to give us an idea of the timeline.
Yeah, I get it. I understand. Again, I understand what they were trying to do.
But Pyramid Head should have had a beard.
Yeah.
Put a beard on the bottom of the pyramid. That'd be fun. But after that, after it shows him inside the Pyramid Head helmet when he kills Maria, hard cut to...
I can't believe we forgot this. Yes.
Yeah, hard cuts to him in his art studio / apartment, wherever the fuck he is. It looks like the attic of like a dock, like a building, like a fishery on the edge of a dock or something. Yeah. I don't know how to describe it.
Like starving artist art studio.
Yeah, but he's in there and he has a painting of himself.
Yeah.
and he takes red paint, and I don't even think he has a paintbrush. It's like on his hands.
It's on his hand.
And he's like violently painting the shape of the pyramid
he's all
around his head. He's like becoming Pyramid Head in the painting.
Yeah, red pyramid.
Yeah, red pyramid, exactly. And my eyes rolled back so fast. Like I could see my brain cells dying in real time.
That's the exact moment I told you this movie was made for 10-year-olds.
Yeah,
my son goes, cool.
Yeah.
He's actually Pyramid Head.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's...
Yeah. It was the first time I ever thought about punching a 10-year-old.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you didn't punch.
Yeah. But yeah, that was very funny. And I'm sure there's a couple little things here and there we missed, but we covered, you know, the all the important stuff. I think
that part was really like, it was insulting to anybody who has any kind of intelligence. Like, we got it.
Yeah.
We understood when you zoomed in under the fucking helmet that it was him. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't also need to see, like, extra bearded James, making that. You know what I mean? Like, it was almost like, in case you didn't catch it the first time, which is exactly what they did with the tombstone scene. Yeah. It was like, in case you didn't
they showed it
catch
twice.
It the first time,
yeah.
They were like, look at it again. Look at it again.
Also, is that what a tombstone would look like? Would you just have someone's full name real big and nothing else?
Yeah, it's just
because it's a small headstone.
Yeah.
And it's like Mary, Angela, Laura, Crane. Like there was no birthday, death
nothing.
day.
It was literally just
loving girlfriend, whatever.
There was no room for anything else. She had 12 names.
Yeah.
Like, she was everybody in that movie. She was literally it was a one-man show. They probably should have just also put James on there.
Yeah.
She's also James.
Mary, it should have just all been Mary.
That's what I'm saying. It was just it was a monologue the whole time.
Yeah.
It was just one person. I don't know. It was a really bad movie.
Terrible dog shit, the movie.
It was a really
starring a bunch of fucking underpaid actors for some reason.
I went because I love you, but...
Yeah, we did suffer immensely. I'm sorry.
I'm not sure I could go to another Silent Hill movie if there is one.
Yeah. I the only reason I was fine going to this and giving Konami some money was because I knew no matter how many tickets we bought, this movie would flop.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care so much about that. It's more like we could have been home, like, hanging out with Bruce or, like,
yeah, true,
being warm.
Mr. Bruce, yeah.
It was like -13 or something.
It was very cold,
really
yeah.
Cold.
It was awful.
So, like, I just want you to remember this if you ever think, like, does she love me? Yeah. She went and really cold. Oh, you know what, really the positive of it, the best part about it, was we got postcards.
Oh yeah, we got a welcome to Silent Hill postcards, which are real fun. Konami really splurged on the merch this time around.
Wish you were here.
Yeah, wish you were here. Yeah.
And the girl who gave it to me, she goes, and then she turned it over like she was showing me what a postcard was for the first time. I didn't tell you this because we were like sort of about to watch the movie, and she turned it over and she's like, and look, there's a place here like you can actually like put a stamp here, and I'm like. I know how a fucking postcard works, kid. Like, I get it. Like, it was like a good. She was nice, you know. Not to say anything to her, but it was kind of like, it's not my first day on Earth. Like, thank you for this Silent Hill postcard. But also, she gave me two. She gave me one for.
Well, to be fair, this movie was made for people it was their first day on Earth.
Clearly, and God, I hope that would not be the first movie they would see.
Oh God. Because then you'd be like, oh, this is what a film is? I'll never do this again.
Imagine this being like the last thing you ever consume for your life. And then,
the statistics are high enough that somebody will die after watching this and it'll be the last movie they saw.
That sucks. I'm really sorry for them.
Is there anything else you want to say about this movie?
Well, not about the movie. But for every person that gives this a 5-star rating.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I hope... Truly.
Do you have like a favorite one you want to read real quick? So when we got home last night, Em started looking at like the Rotten Tomatoes reviews because the score for this movie went up. It started at like a 6% and then it went up to like a 15%, and I think it might be a little higher now.
Let's see.
And then the audience score was like 32%, which is way too goddamn high. There's no fucking way that this is real. But we found some like 5-star reviews on Rotten Tomatoes that were pretty funny. There was one in particular where they were like, they gave it 5 stars, which is the highest score they could give. And then they go through their synopsis and then they're like, really recommend it, 8 out of 10. And I was like, that's not a 5 out of 5 stars. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
they don't know how to do math.
Yeah, I don't think they know how
Reduce
math
that
works.
fraction.
Yeah.
It would be 4.
Do you have like a favorite one?
Yeah, I'm
We could
trying to
end on
find
a
it.
good Rotten Tomatoes review here. Because we obviously do not recommend this. If you are, and
Oh,
by the
here's
way, if you have watched this far, thank you so much. And smash that like button and subscribe or whatever, and fucking join us next time for whatever, and stuff.
Okay, are you ready?
Oh yeah. Here we go.
Okay, this one is a 5-star rating 1 hour ago. So
Oh, okay, this
this
is
is
new.
new, but I love it. It says the visuals are stunning and the atmosphere is incredible. Time flew by while watching it, which says a lot about how immersive the experience is. If you're familiar with the story and or the games, you'll enjoy it even more, as it really respects the essence of the franchise. It's a very strong adaptation with a genuinely good and satisfying ending. You can tell the director truly understands what makes Silent Hill special and has managed to bring it back with a lot of care and respect. When I left the cinema, I had that clear feeling of this is proper Silent Hill. 5 stars. I'm taking this person's username. I'm gonna find them. This is gonna be like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Like I'm gonna go find.
You are the ones who are the ball
I'm
lickers.
gonna find every person who gave this a 5-star rating.
Yeah,
I'm coming for
that's
you. I swear.
insane, dude. I'm
You know,
sorry.
I
Here's the thing.
seriously,
Here's the thing.
everybody who gave this a 5-star rating, I hope that your shower curtain touches you and it has mildew on it,
Yeah.
and you feel unclean for
Yeah.
the rest of your fucking life.
Yeah.
Like shame on you.
The dude, like some of my favorite things I couldn't give like a perfect score to, because like so few things are perfect,
Yeah.
Like 5 out of 5 implies perfection, implies no flaws, implies
no notes.
no notes. Yeah, it's like no, there's plenty of notes. There's always something that can be improved.
Yeah.
That's why it should be a more nuanced discussion than a quick review and a number rating. That's why I don't do number ratings, because those numbers mean different things to different people. Like IGN gave this a 5 out of 10. Which means for IGN that's probably actually like a 2 or a 3, to be fair, but it's I don't understand the positive reviews, and they all kind of read the same way. It's like they feel AI generated or something.
Yeah.
But I have no doubt that there are going to be people who will like this, who will defend this, and I will be scouring the internet for those reviews, because if I see one fucking review on YouTube of someone who's like, yeah, this movie's great and here's why, or one of those like, here's why you're wrong about Return to Silent Hill, I will absolutely be making a response video to that. There will just be no way I can control myself.
You're gonna get a lot of you're gonna get a lot of people like, I didn't understand. You clearly didn't understand the direction that the director was taking this movie in, because that's how people who will want to defend it, right? That you didn't understand it, right? You didn't get it. You're not a real fan. Like, definitely not a real fan.
Yeah, it's my favorite game of all time, but I'm not a real fan. And
like,
I understand.
Like, it's just, it's fair. You're going to get a lot of that kind of, I mean, maybe not a lot. You got a lot of positive people on your Silent Hill F.
I was surprised, honestly, about them.
The ones that were,
there's some great ones, though.
Silly were,
yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be like, people who didn't like this just didn't get it. And it's like, oh,
I got a comment today on one of my Silent Hill videos where the guy compared me to a flat earther.
Oh.
Because of how poorly I understand Silent Hill F.
Oh.
Okay. And I asked them to elaborate, because that's an insane thing to say to someone on the internet.
I love wild claims from people.
Yeah.
Like, I love the absurd accusations, or like the craziest, the craziest like assumptions about you, right? Like,
oh, you didn't like Silent Hill F, you must be a pedophile.
Yeah.
I'm like, huh?
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. Like, or like when people were like, huh, clearly you're like a, you're a stupid man.
Well, that's what Bakbasuk did. He in his YouTube short, he talked about like, if someone doesn't like this game, it's because they don't have empathy for women. And I was like, do you have any idea how dangerous that is to say shit like that on the internet? You fucking moron.
Yeah, these weird like qualifying statements of like if then are crazy because you are the most like empathetic person I think I've ever met, and you are also the least woman hatey man I've ever met. Like ever.
I'm gonna lose street cred if you keep saying stuff like this.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna tell people you're the best person. Like
Yeah,
you're
the amount of
person.
content creators I've seen that say stuff specifically that like about Silent Hill F.
Well, you had a couple of them here that were like on your Silent Hill F video where they were like, "Oh, clearly you're just a fucking, you know, asshole like man, you know, blah blah blah." And it's like
they didn't even watch the video; they just saw
to
the
do
title.
with it. Like what? You know, what are you talking about? And it because it's the assumption that if you didn't like this game, that you are under the belief that it was like woke garbage, right?
Yeah.
You saying things like it was offensive, the explicit scenes in that movie we saw last night. You saying that that's offensive, or you wishing that that was basically treated with proper respect,
some actual reverence and,
like,
understanding,
and like, you know, maybe understand that is the complete opposite of what a woman hating misogynistic, you know what I mean, like they'd be like,
I mean, that's just how people talk on the internet. I kind of just accept it at this point.
I know, but it's just one of those weird things of like, I'm really excited to see if people get
if anybody makes it this far, that would be amazing. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. You know, smash the like button and smash the subscribe button and smash the follow button and smash the other buttons. What?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Love you. Not you.
Let's give our final thoughts on the movie.
I won't kill you. The movie sucked. That's it. That's my final thought.
Absolute.
It was dog shit.
It's absolute horrific dog shit.
Yeah, it was the worst. It was like the worst.
I can't believe
video game movie I think I've ever seen.
You know what? Yeah, actually, that's a good way to. We didn't really talk about it in terms of like a adaptation of a video game specifically, but people will say, like, a lot of people think that the Silent Hill movie, the first one, is like the best video game film adaptation, right?
I don't even mean adaptation. I mean, like, because I can't tell you how it adapted.
Oh, you just mean like the worst movie based on a video game property.
The worst video game movie I've ever seen.
Dude, honestly, yeah, maybe. I don't know if there's one that I hate more than this, because even some of the bad ones are really funny.
Sure.
Yeah. Like there are like Double Dragon was one of my favorite movies growing up. The movie is terrible, but it's so funny.
Was awful.
Yeah.
But like I love it.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. There are some that are they're terrible, but they're fun. This is like
if this had like been like making fun of itself in some way, I would have been cool with it, you know?
I mean, there were those moments we laughed where it really felt like a parody. You know what I mean? Like
see that floating bed.
Like ever. James, like the reveal that Pyramid Head is James, like that, like stuff like that. Like that feels like parody stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right. Like what did I say? What did I say in my I think it was my post-trauma review where I talked about like something being as subtle as like the weapon and your main weapon in Silent Hill 2 being a pillow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's elements of the filmmaking in this where it really almost feels like a parody at times. It's fucking bizarre.
It would have been actually really cool to see James run around with like a washcloth.
Like a washcloth in one hand and a pillow in the other hand. He'd be unstoppable.
I'm done now. I'm gonna go watch Orange County.